Okay, have fun, guys.
Are you leaving the record?
I'm just tuning out. George is here. I know better. It's a De Palma movie.
That was my strategy.
No, I got two guys that are going to gush about this movie, and I know we'll have a guest for 25 minutes.
Hey, later,
Glasses
guys.
on, hood up.
I'm out.
I mean, it does feel like it's going to be an easy one. I'm going to have no problem. I mean, Kron, you could probably still do this strategy, and I'll just talk about Blowout for 25 minutes, and then we could call it an easy early night, to be honest.
It's not a terrible... Bones, why do you dress like the Unabomber when you're trying to go incognito?
I started this.
He's like the reverse Gray Man. He becomes so noticeable.
Yeah, you become more noticeable.
But sometimes when you become so noticeable, they're afraid to look at you.
That is true. I am definitely afraid to look at you. So
I feel like you can't use a white hoodie either. Like
this is a tasteful beige. I think
is that the real name of the color? Tasteful beige.
Yeah.
I think you made a mistake.
I heard you got that was your superlative in high school. Most tasteful beige.
Yeah, I got licked more than anybody.
Oh, nice.
I'm always dropping ketchup and hummus and shit all over my hoodies.
This is
that's a day one hoodie there.
This is not a eat in. There are no liquids around this hoodie.
I think you should take it to chili night.
I'd be all right.
Stains are actually character, as far as I'm concerned.
The beard catches quite a bit.
The soup strainer.
Okay, enough about my physical appearance on this audio podcast.
Hey, you look good tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What a shame that nobody is looking at me.
I am.
We are.
You could post a picture in the Discord.
Do you guys matter? Have you both reviewed the show?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I gave this fucking show a 1 star.
Oh, you're one of the two, huh?
Oh, no. Yeah. I gave it 5.
I've never rated this show.
Wow. That is honestly, I respect that, Kron.
I don't want to skew the numbers, dude.
Yeah.
Did the Unabomber have his mouth open in the sketch, or was it?
No. We don't even know if that was really him. It was just a fucking police sketch.
Yeah, could have just been a nice guy with a Jack Shack.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You think there was a guy like 2 miles down, like, oh fuck,
really dodged a bullet there.
It's just a Jack Shack, I swear.
I guess I'll have to stop making bombs since they've closed the case.
He was the machinery's taking over, and
yeah, he actually, it turns out, had some interesting points. I don't know.
Yeah.
Poor male people. I mean,
you replaced machinery with AI, and he's 30 years ahead.
Yeah, he had some Luddite tendencies for sure.
Is he dead yet? Is he dead? I don't think he's dead.
I don't know.
I dare not Google that. I don't want.
I have a whole.
What is Timothy McVeigh up to now?
Yeah.
What if he's planning the grandest escape ever seen?
Wow.
Actually, to connect that to George, I did Zodiac on his show, which was the book was by Graysmith, and Graysmith's next obsession was the Unabomber. He actually wrote a book on.
There we go.
So boom.
It's all full circle, folks.
So where's the 4-hour David Fincher Unabomber movie?
Yeah.
From your lips to God's ears, right?
He's too busy trying to figure out.
I can't wait to watch it on Netflix.
He's too busy trying to figure out that World War Z sequel. And
you know what? Some of us lucky coastal elites got to go see The Killer in theaters, so...
Mm-hmm. Did you get your money back?
No, yeah. I liked it.
Oh, okay.
I liked it.
It's
sorry.
Okay.
Maybe the theater experience gave it that nice little boost, you know?
It could have. But you're a guy who likes things. You like to like things.
That's true. But I also like to dislike things a lot. I'm a number one hater.
Okay, now that the show's over, what movie did you have to cover that you fucking hated?
Oh, it's Funny Games through and through. I hate that movie so much. I think that it is It's especially funny because much later in the show, we did a movie that basically does everything Funny Games wants to do, but from just like a much more palatable perspective to me, where it is done from someone who is immersed in horror and is questioning, like, what am I participating in? How am I, affecting pop culture and how people view things? Versus Michael Haneke's very didactic lecture about how we should feel like small pieces of shit for liking horror movies. It's just such a huge shift in tone that, like, it really accomplishes the conversation in a much more interesting way, and really helped to solidify just how much I disliked Funny Games.
It's also kind of a dick move to remake your own movie, right?
It's funny because that's like the one thing I actually do respect from him, where he was like, these American pig dogs need it spoon-fed to them. So here you go, American pig dogs.
I feel like it's more like, my movie's so good, I gotta do it again.
I would believe it. I would believe it if he came out and if someone was like that, he was just saying that it was so good that he needed to do it twice. I would go, you know what, that does sound like him to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, didn't Taylor Swift have to re-record all her songs? So
This is money. This is for money.
Oh, okay. I know she's hurting.
Dude, she's barely scraping by.
Hey, man, those private jet flights add up.
Mm-hmm. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the 5-Day Rentals podcast.
Are we going to get like a retirement era?
Why would you interrupt the intro?
I don't know. I had a Swiftie question. Sorry.
Okay, ask it.
I actually have appeared on a Taylor Swift podcast to talk about the movie Cats. It was fun. I like that movie too. I don't think it's good, but I like it.
That's how I feel about Blowout.
Interesting. I feel differently about Blowout.
Oh, okay.
I refused
striking out on this category with Bones.
I refused to watch Cats until they released the butthole cut.
Hey man, every cut is the butthole cut if you have a strong enough imagination.
Or a magic marker.
That too. You could do it like at Christmas time, people play the game where like you put the hat on the side or on the corner of the TV, and when people like line up with it and it looks like they're actually wearing the hat, you take a drink. You could do that. Just stick like a butthole on the screen, and whenever a cat lines up with it, take a drink.
You could print the movie out. You could doodle a magic marker,
flip book,
and then
rescan
refilm
it frame by frame.
Yeah, and then send it off to somebody.
Oh yeah, like in Icy. I get you now.
But I'm redoing my audio. I'm doing my own Bones cut. Bones Cats cut.
I would love to hear the Bones Mr. Mistopheles.
Nah. Let's get to the intro before I get canceled.
You did say Christmas. Kron, why are we here?
Well, Dan, before you interrupted the intro, I was getting to it. This is the 5-star banquet on 5-Day Rentals. Movies that each of the three hosts consider to be a 5-star film. Previously, Dan covered the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I am covering Blowout this evening. My name is Kron Howard. I'm joined as always by two guys who record their own unauthorized material in the park late at night. Bones and Laundry Dan. Say hey.
Hey.
Hi.
We are also joined on this very special episode. Guys, I knew the three of us. I watched this movie several times and I was like, you're telling me this city has a lake and a train? What the fuck is going on up there? I knew we had to bring in an expert. It's George Heftler from the best little horror house in Philly. Gone but not forgotten. What's up, dude?
The crowd is going wild. I am thrilled to be here. Now that Best Little Horror House in Philly is over, it's like I was standing in the on-deck circle, swinging away with a weight on. and I'm taking that weight off, and I'm ready. I'm hitting my podcast guest era. And baby, I'm swinging for the fences. And we're starting here with Blowout. It doesn't get better than that.
Now that the show's over, are you just sitting in front of a mic that's not plugged into anything once a week? And
Like the kid in Wet Hot American Summer.
yeah.
I do, and every week I click through and I'm like, all right, what's this week's movie? Wait a minute. There's nothing. I like go through it every single time, and I will say, joking aside, that there were like 2 weeks after the show ended, I had like a really full weekend planned, and like probably like 6 or 7 times during that week, I would be like, oh fuck, what do I need to do tonight in order to like have fun this weekend? And every time the answer was nothing, and I was like, oh wow, that is exciting. So it truly has been a weight off. I loved doing it. And actually I loved doing it, but it was so much work, and I also love not doing it. It turns out.
That's good to hear. I mean, this thing is running on fumes as it is, so.
There is light on the other side. I love listening to this show, and I hope it goes forever. But as your friend, the idea that there is light on the other side fills me with hope for you.
We've put it out. We're taking there'll be a little break after this.
I'm not.
These two hated the Bond category so much.
Kron.
We had to do these 5-star movies to kind of
wash it out.
Yeah, it's okay. We haven't. I don't think we've let out what's next week. Mm-hmm. I know they'll be slightly miserable again.
I mean, I get it. When you start with trash like Diamonds Are Forever, that's gonna put a bad taste in anyone's mouth.
I didn't hate the movies. They were okay. What do you want me to say? I like watching weird metal demon movies. I know what I like.
I'm here to support Kron and his pick for Moonraker. I also really like Moonraker. I also really did like Dan's pick as well. I'm Adult Head. His two are both in my top 5. So sorry to. I know I didn't even anticipate litigating Bond, but here we are.
I think Dan would rather litigate Bond over the other thing we always fucking litigate.
That's true. I have less opinion on the puppet stuff, to be honest. I love hearing you guys get riled up, but you know, I'm here for the more individualized aggressions that happen.
Yeah. Red Letter Media is doing puppets right now, so
it's
we don't need
attack
to
now. Yeah, it's over. It's done. It's busted. It's everyone's doing it.
Yeah. What are we gonna say?
We pushed it into the mainstream.
Right.
I think that's enough
to
of
be
a victory.
commended. To be commended.
Retired. I would watch Diamonds Are Forever over Moonraker any fucking day of the week.
I was kidding. I do like Diamonds Are Forever.
Hold on, Dan. Let me cancel that FedEx package.
Whoa.
Just send it.
Just send it. Just fucking send it, dude.
Hopefully use the double-sided nails.
It's fucking
Please.
FedEx. It ain't gonna be there anyway.
I don't know. It'll get lost in the town an hour down from me where I watch
Pieces of shit lost Tom Hanks.
Wow.
How you gonna do that?
Hey, he got a ball, you know?
He should have opened those packages at the end of the movie, right?
That's what we were really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what the fuck was in there?
Soul.
They've said what was in there.
Marcellus Wallace's soul, dude?
Mm-hmm.
The cast of Lost.
That's
Hey,
right.
speaking of Pulp Fiction.
Whoa.
Terrible.
Shut the fuck up.
The worst Travolta
Take
movie.
it. Kron, come on, man. I'm throwing it to you.
I'm trying. Dan keeps interrupting every time,
What'd you do?
Anyway,
All right.
Kron,
That's
what
right.
movie are we covering?
God damn it, dude. We are here to talk about Blowout from 1981, directed by Brian De Palma.
Who?
BDP, baby.
And what number is this of Brian De Palma movies that you have chose for this podcast?
Yeah, I guess. Well, let's just run through them. I brought us Raising Cain. I brought us Phantom of the Paradise.
Yeah.
I brought us Blowout right now.
You got one more.
What the hell else did we cover?
Body Heat.
Yeah, Body Double. That's right.
All right.
So hard to keep track. Yes, this is the fourth De Palma. If you guys want to throw one out there,
to
feel
be
free.
fair, Body Double's pretty forgettable. So
Body Double's pretty good, dude.
I like Body Double.
it ain't no Phantom of the Paradise.
Man, if you guys like Body Double, wait till you see Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who directed that.
Also Brian De Palma.
Yeah. In like every movie, he directs a little bit of Psycho.
Yeah, but he's better.
Okay.
You like De Palma over Hitchcock?
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with that.
Way more tits.
Fuck yeah, dude.
If Hitchcock, here's the thing.
Fuck
if
yeah,
Hitchcock
dude.
if Hitchcock could,
He
there
could.
there would be more tits than Brian De Palma.
George, be fit. You got to give that to De Palma.
Look,
He's got way
yes,
more boobs
I
in his
do. I
movies.
concede this point that in the reality that we live in, Brian De Palma has more titties in his movies. But were Alfred Hitchcock not constrained by the terrible timeline that we're in, and he came upon us a little later, a little less restrictive of a sensibility. You know, this is the man that put the first flushing toilet on film, if you'll recall. Imagine what kind of filthy shit he really wanted to do.
What if Doctor Strange came to us and said the only way you stop Donald Trump from ever becoming president is going back and telling Hitchcock to put a pair of coney titties and dial him for murder, like classic 50s cone shape.
I mean, that's a win-win. I would definitely tell him to do that.
They hadn't really figured out the cup yet.
All the women in Coney Island were like, oh.
Yeah.
That's a win-win as far as
They
I'm
misunderstood the open call for cone tits.
No, that was the They're like, you're from
Yeah.
Pennsylvania?
What was
Yeah,
up with
get outta
those
here.
bras? They were shaped like, you know, those shitty paper cups. Like,
Yeah.
Coffee
Like
filters.
that you put
Yeah,
like
but
a
you-
snow cone in.
yeah, but then you can't set it down. That's why we have an obesity
How much?
problem.
Wait, hold on. How much water? First of all, water. You can't set down a snow cone. That's true. I thought you were gonna say you can't set down a water. I was like, there's not that much water in there, man.
Yeah.
You should be able to slug that back. I think.
How much, like, 60s tits are you looking at, dude?
Who, me?
No. Well, question to all, I guess.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I got a
more-
little defensive there because I'm just looking at so many 60s titties.
More than you fucking loser.
Yeah.
I look at a lot.
Yeah, I'm looking at a ton, but you guys say how much first. Just
Listen, you don't know where you're going unless you know where we've been.
so true. So true.
We
All
are
right, guys, the
working
plot
our
of this
way to.
movie. We start out with maybe one of the greatest fake out openings of all time. You got this classic slasher setup. This guy's going around, knife in hand, peeking in the windows of this girl's dormitory, checking out all these babes and what they're getting into. He makes his way into the shower, throws back the curtain in a scene very reminiscent of Psycho, wouldn't you say, Dan?
Oh, interesting.
I've
He
never
goes-
seen it.
He goes to stab this lady, and she lets out the worst scream ever heard in the film. We pull out. We see our hero. He is Jack Terry, played by John Travolta. He's a
Wait,
sound man.
Sorry, I know we're going quick through the plot, but I did just want to say that you got to admit that Brian De Palma, even in his phony horror movie here, is still doing pretty good screenwriting. Like, it's a believable situation, and the argument gets the RA occupied so that this creepazoid can sneak in. I was like, if this movie existed, it would be good.
Cohen
I can-
Frenzy.
I can tell you that this is a flawless execution.
You're at 5 right now.
What?
Like 5 stars. Watching this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, knowing the biz, I know. Nobody
Biz.
creeps better than me.
Is it the shower biz? Like the shower biz?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what fucking college is this?
This
I want
dude's
to go.
such a good creeper. He killed another creeper and kept creeping.
Oh, he's a cop creeper.
Yeah, I think the first creeper was a cop.
Yeah, but he was stopping to creep.
He was creeping, but
Yeah. You don't creep on my turf.
When you're wearing the badge, dude,
no.
creep around a little. Comes with the territory.
To answer your question, Dan, Bryn Mawr College is a women's college in the area. So
Fuck. It's going to have to be a dress to kill situation for me, I guess. That was
there's
a
a
Brian
dude
De
in
Palma joke.
Yeah, but he was visiting, wasn't he? I don't think that he was a.
He was getting down with one of the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy banging in there.
And there's another
She
guy
probably-
there with
Yeah,
a
I think he
knife.
was visiting.
She snuck him in through the window. I'm just saying Dan doesn't have to go to the lengths of pulling a dress to kill.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. But he just wants to. He doesn't have to. He gets to.
Dan, you got a sweatshirt?
Just to prove you wrong, Kron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a sweatshirt.
So then I got your end, dude. You
Kron,
let me know.
I'll convince you so well you'll come to me as a psychiatrist.
I would eat a bullet before I came to you for mental
wouldn't
health
know, dude,
advice.
because I'd be a woman,
Kron.
dude.
You wouldn't know, dude. Come on.
That's how good I'm going to be.
I believe in you, Dan. I think you can do this.
Thank you, George. Thank you. And thank you for all you've done for podcasting.
Thank you for recognizing it.
I think I did read a thing where Brian De Palma was saying he conceived of this opening because he hated how people kept saying his movies were just schlock.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, I'll just do the schlocky opening, give them what they think my films are,
Hell yeah.
and then do a real movie after that.
Hell yeah, dude. I look, I was recently talking to someone that I was reminded of oppositional defiance disorder. And I was like, oh, maybe it's possible I got a little of that. And then this also feels like the same sort of vibe, right? It's like, oh, you think I'm just schlock? Fine. Then I'll do it. I'm going to give you what you want, but it's going to be a good version of that. And he did it. And God damn it, Brian, you did it.
You don't think it was just maybe the tits? Like, let's
I don't think
start
that
off with some
hurt.
tits.
I don't think that hurt.
I think that helps add to the schlock value of it.
I mean, you go in, you think, oh, it's De Palma. I'm going to get titties. It opens with titties. And then by the end of it, it's political intrigue. There's an assassination attempt.
This thing's
What?
covered in De Palma.
What is this thing? It's like year 2020. A kid's trying to log on to Pornhub. The next thing you know, he's like deep into QAnon.
Wow. Did you guys read the book? Not the book of this movie. Brian
QAnon?
Palma's book.
Oh, Are Snakes Necessary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have read that.
I read it too, and it was okay.
It was okay. Okay is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I bailed. I think I gave it to you, Kron, right?
Yeah, and I read it.
Yeah.
So
I
It
I
was
will
okay.
say, I do think if you get to the end, there is like
There's some payoff.
there's a good twist in it that
Yeah,
is rewarding, but
It's a
there's-
little long. You kind of got to plow through
yeah.
parts of it in order to get to that payoff. It's okay.
There's a lot better hard case crime books out there than
This was
Brian
purely a
Palma's.
novelty to be like, whoa, Brian De Palma wrote a book. Let me get this.
Mhm.
I
right,
was
guys.
just curious. Sorry, that was a tangent.
We pull out. We see Jack Terry, who's John Travolta. He's a sound man working on this low budget horror trash. The producer / director, I don't know. He tells him, all your stuff sucks, dude. You're working on these shitty movies. We've been using the same wind for who knows how long. I'm tired of all the library sounds. Can you please just go out, record some new wind?
This is a classic De Palma self-insert. You know, my guy loves to put himself in the movies. He did it with Dress to Kill. He did it with this as Jack Terry. But it works, right? It helps it feel very personal, I think, his movies. Because it really is speaking from a place of having been there. Also, I just think that this scene looks incredible. All those red curtains, the mixing board shots, like this just looks great going into it.
Mm-hmm.
If that was me, I would have spent the next 2 hours just farting into a microphone.
You want wind? Here you go.
You're going to get it.
Just come back with a full shopping bag full of beans and get to work.
You could just blow over a Coke bottle, dude.
No.
You don't got to be gross about it.
That sounds like a winking butthole. That doesn't sound like a fart.
Making it gross again.
It's more of like a whistle than the wind.
Not the way I can do it.
Are you farting on the open bottle or are you blowing on it?
My butthole's not involved.
Okay. I'm just asking. People are talented.
It's all mouth stuff.
In the record, could you drop in some audio here of you?
There's like a Coke bottle in a phone booth that just slapped a $50 bill on the side.
Yeah.
Posts going, yeah, just mouth stuff.
Yeah. Sailors just want the mouth stuff.
That's right.
Can't be doing butt stuff in a phone booth.
It's just
There's
not
not enough
sanitary.
Well, there's not enough room either.
Well, I got E70 for the butt stuff.
All right, Jack gets back home. He flips on the TV. There's a lot of this cool kind of split screen thing going on. One side is the TV. There's all this mistrust around the president. Governor Ryan is the clear front runner in the next election. And so that's on the right side. On the left side is just Jack, laying out a bunch of tape and getting shit ready to go record. I do love how much De Palma uses why are you making a jerk off motion?
Because I would jerk off to this if
Okay.
if they just looped this, I would finish.
I do love that De Palma has such an economy of filmmaking. This, why split this into two separate segments when you can just put them side by side?
He's right.
One of them is mostly visual and the other is mostly audio.
Yeah.
It creates a whole picture,
Well, and it's parallel exposition in a way. You're setting up the overall story, and you're also setting up the tools necessary for him to uncover the mystery later.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're making us feel like you need a bottle. You can't just hoo-hoo. You need that bottle to get that. Okay. Yeah, it's good shit.
Oh, I was doing the owl that he catches, not the bottle. For the wit.
Oh,
for the
okay.
record.
Oh, okay.
So I only sound like an idiot on purpose and not by accident.
Did you guys hear that?
No.
Sorry.
We can see you blowing the bottle.
Oh, dude, you have to take it out of your throat, dude.
Dan, go ahead and drink a little of that. It's bad luck not to. All right, guys. Jack goes out that night. He decides to record some new sound effects. He's getting some wind. He's getting some frogs, an owl.
Wait a minute. I know John Travolta was an old dog and a wild hog. And now he's recording frog?
Wow.
Whoa.
He worked on that one all week, folks.
And
Came
paid
to me
off. Paid off.
came
as
to
far
me
as I'm
today.
concerned.
He's sending it to me Monday night, and I was like, I'll see what I can do with it.
And
Redacted.
you didn't need to punch it up at all.
Mm-mm.
Nah, that's perfect. I was like, that's great. I actually had to cross that out on my notes.
Yeah, ship
Fuck.
it
Don't you
as
hate that?
is.
Son of a bitch.
That's good stuff,
Did-
Bones.
Did anybody see Wild Hogs?
Yes. Sorry, I actually did. I was a child though when it came out. You must remember.
My parents talked about that movie A lot.
I think
They
my
loved
parents watched
They
it
fucking loved it.
Wow.
quite a bit as well.
I mean, what's not to love, right?
Is Ray Liotta the bad guy in that?
No.
Yeah, he's like the brother-in-law or something, right?
Some could call him the wildest of hogs.
Wow. Much to consider.
Yeah.
Did the wild hogs all gather around and beat the fuck out of him like in Killing Me Softly?
I think so, and I think that they like just put a bunch of bars of soap into a pillowcase, just knocked him off his bike and started beating the fuck out of him.
A Code Red?
Yeah. It was ugly. It was ugly. Weird turn in a kids movie, I have to say. I guess a family movie. That's a four quadrant film.
Yeah.
It's for everyone. All right, guys, Jack's recording all this stuff, but wouldn't you know it, he ends up recording the audio of a car crash. We see this car go into the river below him. Jack jumps in, swims down.
Jesus Christ.
He's trying to get this lady out. Eventually, he ends up picking up a rock and smashing the window. Now, guys, I argued in our Bond series, I don't know if you could knock someone out underwater. I don't think you could break a window underwater.
I don't think he could have done it.
It's 81.
I don't think he could have done it.
Glass is
the
probably
windows?
stronger than 81.
Yeah, that's less designed to be able to be broken into safely so that people can rescue you. Also, I have to say that you skipped a very important plot point, which is that he hears a weird noise that he doesn't know what it is, and we don't know what it is either, until later it's revealed that he's fucking around with his watch. And so there's like there's like a before the owl, but after the wind, you hear, whoa, what's this noise? What's this noise in the middle of the Wissahickon?
And this is probably the third time I've seen this. First time I noticed the person in the shadow.
Wow. Are you on that 4K joint right now?
Honestly, that's what it could have been.
Yeah.
So
it's oh my god, it looks so
fucking
good.
I bought this on Apple a while ago when we knew Blowout was going to be a 5-star. I think it was like $3.99 and I bought it. So I don't even know if that's truly 4K or what. But you were saying the 4K release looks pretty dope.
Oh my god. It's like I would say it's maybe like the nicest looking Criterion disc that I have.
Hell yeah. BDP deserves it.
Yeah, it looks great.
All right, Jack jumps in. He does eventually free this lady from the car, pulls her out. We cut over to Jack being questioned by some detective guy. He's at the hospital.
This fucking guy.
Who are you?
He's telling him just straight up, like, I did hear the blowout, but there was a bang before that happened.
He's like, oh, you're a sound guy? You know about sound? Okay, dude.
It wasn't a girl, though. No.
He does tell him, I jumped in the lake and rescued the girl. This guy is like, you're fucking everything up, dude.
You saying that you jumped down in the water and you pulled that girl out? The water?
Okay, dude. Jump down in the water.
You just get down in the water and pulled that chick out?
Yins just jump in water?
Yins
is Pittsburgh.
It's the same state.
That's closer than we are.
So far away. It's really not. I mean, it is closer than you guys are, but only by a hair. That's like a 5-hour trip across the state.
Yeah.
We're closer to Pittsburgh, so we're Yins.
All right. I mean, God bless, right? But I respect Pittsburgh. I actually have plans to visit in the early next year to make a trek out to Monroeville and pay homage to my man Georgie Romero.
Oh, nice. Speaking of Romero, is this Travolta's best performance?
I'm so glad you asked this.
Besides The Fanatic, of course.
This is a million times better than that
Shut your
trash fire, dude.
Shut the fuck up.
It is very good. I do. Here's the thing. I feel like this movie would be good without him. But there are movies that he's in that I don't think would be good without his incredible performance. Movies like Grease. And I'm kind of inclined to pick like one of like I think Grease might be his best performance for me because so much of the movie rides on his back and there's like not a ton else like you know I definitely think that he's the star of that movie, whereas there's so much other stuff going on with this that it like almost steals a little of his shine. He's absolutely incredible in it. There's a moment where he like smiles and you're just like, oh, I'm ready to also like get the fuck out of this hospital. Like, let's fucking go to your place. But I don't know. That's a really good question. Tough choice.
I think I would probably go with this as his best performance, just in the sense that, like, this is the first one where he, you know, wasn't playing a high school kind of burnout thing going on. Like, this was so against type, and I feel like he got to show more range in this than he had before. And, like, I know the movie wasn't a hit when it came out, but I think it's, like, stood the test of time. And, I mean, I think I like this more than any other performance of his that I've seen.
You're not a huge. I thought you loved the remake of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Me and Bones went and watched that movie at the theater together.
Mm-hmm. I think he's like one of those guys though, where he kind of needs like a good director to rein him in, like BDP or. You know, when Tarantino kind of resurrected his career, I feel like it's like him and Nick Cage, where it's like if you just let him run wild, you kind of don't know what you're going to get at the end of it.
Yeah,
Bones, you total Grease?
Huh?
Is Bones, you total Grease?
I don't know. I think I got to go Blowout. I mean, I really love him in Pulp Fiction, but I don't think he's my favorite performance in Pulp Fiction. And I think he's the most important part of Saturday Night Fever. And like to George's point, I do think that Blowout would be a good movie without Travolta, but in a movie that's already pretty damn good, he helps bump it up. And I do agree. I think Grease will be the thing, like in his in memoriam. It'll be Grease, Saturday Night Fever, and Pulp Fiction. But I think this is just the range, I don't know, just the slip into madness. He's always just on the edge, like he's about to break, like, shit, am I crazy? And then he brings it back around to, you know, realizing that he's right and he's on the case for something. And then, you know, you get that little vignette of him in the flashback. Feels like a different guy.
I actually just got a knock at my door. I'm already getting angry letters from Olivia Newton-John fans.
I love this interaction with him in the hospital. I just think it's so good.
It is so good. This whole hospital scene is amazing. His interaction with the cop, his interaction with Nancy, his interaction with the second cop. Oh my God, everything is amazing.
If I do have one little nitpick about it, I do feel like he's not really presenting like he worked with police before.
I disagree. I feel like he is so annoyed already and like frustrated, and he like totally sees this guy giving him the runaround, and he's like, that's why he's like trying to be as blunt and direct as possible, and he's like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking bounce then. I'm not gonna put up with this. Like I think he knows when enough is enough in a way that someone who is just like not interacted with police before might not do.
I could see where he wouldn't want to bring it up to them, given the circumstances of why he left.
You don't think that guy recognizes him? I think that he knows who he is, and that's why he's being such a dickhead.
I kind of thought that too, maybe.
The detective or the
street officer.
Yeah.
I feel like in the street officer there could have been something a little bit more. But
I think he was part of the corrupt brotherhood, and everyone was like, "Oh, you took down a lot of good cops." Like, I don't think that he's mad about like killing that guy. I think that he's mad about like sending police officers to jail or taking them down or whatever.
What do you think, Kron?
I know when it's jumping ahead a little. Like, I know when he goes to see the cop who he hands his tape over to, that guy is like you burned a lot of bridges, essentially. Like, so he, like, that cop clearly doesn't want to work with him, even though he has like clear evidence of something going on. But I almost thought these two guys at the front, I don't know if they're cops or if they're like the president sent those guys down. Like, he's learned that something has gotten fucked up with all this shit with Ryan, and he's kind of sent these two guys down to suss out, like, all right, where the fuck are we with this thing?
Why wouldn't they have come down together then? The other guy doesn't show up until later.
Well, I'm a little good cop, bad cop. You got send one guy in first and the other guy in next. Well, maybe at least one of them is like a...
I think if it's any of them, it's the detective, because he's like, "Oh, you didn't see a girl. Like, let's push this under the rug." But the beat cop is just a dickhead. Like, maybe it's just because he's an asshole. But I thought it was because he recognizes him and is like, "I'm gonna be a fucking dickhead to this guy, even more than usual."
I could see that. All right, so Travolta, he does go to see Sally, who's Nancy Allen.
Hubba hubba.
She's kind of all like fucked up still at this point, coming off of whatever drugs they gave her at the hospital. So
she's not even coming off it. She is going into it. They're like, we just sedated her.
Yeah, but she's also like up and walking around. Like, I feel like there should be a nurse in
effect. Oh yeah, for sure, someone should be watching her.
Yeah, being like, you can't get out of bed right now.
Kron, how many times did I run out of the house when I was drunk? You had chased me down, dude.
Yeah, but we just started letting you go.
Yeah,
he'll find his way back.
Sounds like so did this nurse.
I ate a dog.
As Jack's leaving, this other guy does show up. He's kind of like, "Do you know who died in the car wreck?" And Jack's like, "No." He's like, "It was
Jody.
Governor Ryan."
What?
Jody, he died in the car wreck.
I don't think that's
for real,
right, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back to that.
Jody died in the car wreck.
Okay. I just remember him showing back up at the very end.
Yeah, he's alive in
so
most of the other movies.
What is it?
He's a ghost, dude. What?
How's he drive then?
He's a ghost dude?
Driving.
Ghost car.
I've heard of ghost dad.
He's a ghost Cuda. Another Philadelphia guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna go.
We don't talk about him though.
Did you go to school with Theo?
I believe he actually just got an honorary degree from my institution. Thank you.
Whoa.
Yeah. There's like a very famous picture of him.
He mastered in barbecue sauce, right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to talk about Cosby. He makes me sad.
I watched that one Ray Romano movie.
Big Sick.
No,
there was. He filmed at Drexel. I remember that. No. I don't know what it is, but
because there's a newer one where his daughter goes to Drexel.
Yeah, they just filmed that for not that long ago. And
I was like, oh, that's where George works, who I podcast with, and my wife could not give a shit.
Wow.
Baby, what's a Drexel?
Also, just fully giving away. I don't care, but it is funny to just be like, George works at this place.
I try to tie it in sometimes.
Yes, it is true. And
to be like, I'm not a loser wife.
Do we need to cut this out? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't care. I don't care. I just thought it was funny. But wait, so what is this other movie? You're saying there's a second Philadelphia Ray Romano movie?
It's not Philadelphia. It's New York. But his daughter at the end
Boo hiss.
goes to that university.
Oh, okay.
He's like a fucking construction worker. Hold on, I gotta look at it. Continue, Kron. Do your thing.
Ray Romano is a construction worker?
Yeah.
Deborah, I'm working at the construction.
I'm doing 16 on center for support with the studs. Where's my concrete?
Now I'm
Sports
trying to
writing
figure
ain't
out-
paying what it used to.
Oh.
All right, guys. This guy tells Travolta, like, that guy was Ryan. How about you were never there? You never pulled a car, or you never pulled a chick out of the car.
I can't get over Ray Romano like catcalling ladies on a construction site.
Hey, baby.
Hey, pull that up a little bit. What you working with, huh? How about a smile? Give me a smile.
He tells Jack that, like, there was no girl. Ryan is dead. Maybe you just forget what you saw. You could realize, like, what kind of strain this would put on his family. Let's just let it be believed that he died alone.
I mean, interesting dilemma for our guy here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At what cost truth?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting stuff.
I mean, it's kind of like Jack Terry, then Rorschach, then... That's it.
Yeah,
End of
that's
list.
it. Those are the two. And the president's like, I've already done it. I did it 15 minutes ago.
Put Tom Cruise, Few Good Men in there.
Okay. I'll allow it as 3.
I actually haven't seen that movie.
You can't handle the truth.
I could.
Objectively, an incredible movie.
Somewhere in Queens. Sorry,
That's what it's called.
that'll sound really weird for me to have just said out of context. Dan sent over the letterbox profile of that movie we were talking about. It's called Somewhere in Queens.
I would say 50% of listeners have pulled up Letterboxd and answered that already.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll hear it in the Discord.
Or they just already knew because they're such Romano heads.
Wow.
I hear that everybody loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy Zone Sebastian Maniscalco in there as well.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I believe so.
Okay.
I mean, that's how it's spelled.
That was not a dig. That's one of those names that I've seen and never attempted.
George, what did I rate that movie?
That's a good question. Let's find out. You rated it 2.5
5
stars.
5 stars. What the hell?
5-star banger. You said this. Look for this on the banquet. Yes, 2.5 stars, which is
next year
tied for the lowest rating among people that I follow. But nothing above. Well, there's one that's 4, but no rating or no review, which I don't. That's bullshit. I throw that out. If you don't review, your opinion means nothing to me. Sorry, review it. That's the only way to know. Oh, you actually gave it to it. You did 2.5 without a review. Sorry.
Toss it.
It's fucking out the window, brother.
You really need a review on Somewhere in Queens.
Yes. Otherwise, what the fuck does 2.5 mean? This means nothing to me.
Fuck. Now I gotta do a goddamn rewatch. God damn it.
This means nothing.
I've started putting a review in, but it'll just be like one sentence.
Whatever, man. As long as that says something about it, though. The fact that you could only muster up a 1-sentence pithy review says something about the movie. It lets me in a little bit.
Sometimes it'll be a good movie though, and I'll be like, good fun stuff here. 5 stars.
It's all there, man. It's all there to dig into. I'm hacking into the chronosphere by reading those reviews.
You'll never get back out again. All right. This guy tells Jack, like, hey, I'll get the two of you the hell out of this hospital. Just lay low. So Jack takes Sally back to a hotel because they're both kind of like, people are probably watching my place. People are probably watching your place. Let's just hit a hotel. She falls asleep because she's still all fucking drugged up and shit. Jack throws on the audio and he kind of starts replaying the events. He's got his pencil. We see him listening to the tape. He's kind of like, all right, I did this. I put the mic here. There's the frog. Going back through the whole thing beat by beat. We get to the accident. I would say at this point in the movie, they're definitely saying, boom, gunshot, then blowout.
Does
We
this
jump over.
take the cake for the title used in the movie?
Most times
Yeah.
said. That's interesting.
There was an alternate title, right?
Flat.
What were you going to say, Kron? That fell flat.
I don't remember. All right, we jump over. We see this other guy. He breaks into where they've stored Ryan's car. Guys, he replaces the bullet tire with a blowout tire. Some very sneaky shit going on.
Yeah, duplicitous.
We're all reading what George sent us in chat right now.
I thought I could be sneaky about it, and it would not throw a hitch in here, but it turns out it is. So I'll instead just read it aloud for the whole group. In the letterboxd for that movie, someone named what is it here? Richard Romano is also a featured cast member, and now I'm wondering which member of the cast is a family member of Ray Romano.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, in your rewatch for the review, you have homework now. Spot the Ray relative. The Raylative.
Is there a flashback? Is this like a little kid playing?
He does
Little
have
Ray?
like, it might be the uncle. No, because he's too far down. There's like an uncle that works for him as well.
Much to consider. Much to consider.
I think
Okay,
he wants to like cheat on his wife. He has the opportunity. No, I'm not gonna spoil Somewhere in Queens. You guys, 5-star, watch it.
Is that why you only gave it a 2.5? Because he doesn't cheat on the wife?
Well, that opinion is null and void, so it's like it never happened.
Diner Cop #1, dude.
Oh, okay. Spot him. Spot him.
Richard, it's your uncle. I got your big break's coming up, dude.
Hey, John Goodman was a diner cop in Chud. So, stranger things have happened.
Famous Missourian.
All right, next morning, Jack shows Sally the audio. He's like, you got to listen to this shit and tell me what you think. But she's kind of like, that's fucking weird. I don't want to play back last night.
She's like, I didn't want to listen to Radiohead again. God, every time. God.
Another King Gizzard concert? How long is this tour gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to explain Tool to me. I get it.
She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it.
Mm-mm. Dan, you got to keep telling her. You got to keep the time signatures alone.
It's enough to blow someone's mind right out their ass. Now that's a blowout.
Eventually, Jack, he heads back to work. They flip on the TV, and that director guy, he's like, holy shit, they got like video of the Ryan incident last night. Now, Jack gets really interested in this because he's already like, there was some fishy shit going on. He rushes over, looks at the TV, and they're like, all the images have been published in a magazine, so you got to go fucking pick that thing up. He rushes out and gets it. He's kind of going through the pictures frame by frame. He starts cutting these things out and like stitching them together into a, doing like a little flip book of it.
It rocks. I'm so bad at flip books. I got sausage fingers that get in the way. So I was like, wow, he just made a flip book out of this. Look at him go.
Now, I don't think I've made a flip book since, I don't know, elementary school.
I think you should start.
And that's why you're not in the film business.
Well, I got a camera then.
You know, you have to start doing it manually so that you can appreciate the automated version.
I had a little 8mm and a talk boy, and I was shooting my own films.
Wow. Look at him go.
No, I didn't have an 8mm. It's crazy.
I think you got 8mm.
I didn't have an 8mm. I did have a talk boy that I hope those tapes never surface. Whatever insane shit I was saying in the 4th grade to my talk boy.
Bones, you ever flip book it?
Nothing's coming to memory. I mean, I think I had flip
shit.
books. I don't know if I made flip books.
I was
like
like
Kron's-
get bored in class. You just
Yeah.
like do it in the corner. Do a little couple pages on a test.
My still images were so lifelike. You know, Van Gogh
That explains
level.
it.
You know,
I know that must be
I was-
true because you said Van Gogh.
yeah, you're a learned person.
That's who it is.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And only a true artiste would know that. So
He also reads a shit ton of Shakespeare. Like, yeah, he's a smart guy. What's
Just
that?
gonna let that.
That was the
I'm gonna let
worst
that one
joke.
breathe a little.
That was the worst joke tonight. All right, I'll take it.
No, I was trying to think of like another name that I could mangle real quick, and I thought of Monet, but then my mangled version was Manet, and I was like, "Oh, that's a real guy
that's a
too."
real guy. Yeah, you're too smart for your own good.
Yeah. All right.
You just couldn't shit where you ate.
Yeah. Jack goes to meet with Sally. She's about to leave. Like, he calls her up, and she's like, well, I'm going to the train station. I'm getting the hell out of Philadelphia.
Deuces.
He's like, well, come on. You promised me a drink. Like, I'll meet you at the train station. I'll be there. Let's go get a drink before you leave.
Is that? I mean, does every Philly person say that at some point in their life? I'm getting the fuck out of Philadelphia.
How dare you? But yes.
I mean, you were just telling us you're going to Pennsylvania later.
I'm in Pennsylvania already.
I couldn't remember where. Romero's grave. I don't know where that is.
The other P.
Monroeville in Pittsburgh. But I love 30th Street Station so much. It is such a beautiful building. It's so Philadelphia to me. You see it a lot in M. Night movies. You see it here. That fucking awesome Art Deco architecture. Beautiful ramp. This beautiful stonework. Oh my god. I just love being around in that damn... on film and in real life. It's just like a great environment to be in.
Does it still look how it looks in this movie?
Yeah, the flipboard is sadly no longer there, but besides that, like, it looks exactly like this. That statue is still there and everything. Yeah, it's a gorgeous building.
Is this the best Philly movie?
Oh, well, it's funny you asked that because this actually was debated on a legal thriller, which people can find on the Patreon for Best Little Horror House in Philly. Still available, if you can believe it. No, that's not true. I stopped taking people's money. But it's tough because there are a lot of great Philadelphia movies. I think that the movie that won was Law Abiding Citizen, the Gerard Butler movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's a really fun one. I
remember getting sucked into that movie. I was like,
yeah,
oh, shit.
it's good as fuck.
One of us might have it on a short list for this here podcast.
Very nice. Well, I'll say no more then, but rest assured, it feels like a good fit.
Are we really doing the butler category?
We're going to do the boobler category.
Lee
It's only
Daniels,
fair.
the butler. That would be
Alright.
funny.
That's Kron's pick.
My pick would be law-abiding citizen, dude.
Sure.
All right.
Worth it. Worth it. The category would be worth it, even if just for that.
At this meeting, Travolta goes into his backstory. He used to work with the police. He basically rigged this guy up for put a wire on him. But this guy, as soon as he gets on the fucking job, he starts sweating all over. This guy is a bad undercover cop, right?
If it was me, I would simply be cool as a cucumber. I would just not sweat. This could not be me.
Yeah. Well, but I feel like that's like, dude, when you get nervous, are you going to sweat all over? Maybe we don't put you undercover then.
Yeah, they were like, he's our best man, too. They specify. Also, I did want to point out that in the driving around, we have seen some lovely rear projection, very Hitchcocky.
Yeah, it's fine in this sequence.
No, it's fine everywhere.
I
It's
think
a beautiful homage.
I think it kind of ruins another sequence later on.
No, I don't think so.
Hey, I said I think.
Well, it turns out opinions can be wrong. Who knew?
What?
You heard me.
Van Gogh, my friend.
Well, he raised a good point.
All right, this wire
Shark
guy.
spear, bro.
Yeah.
Wire guy is sweating all over himself. He ends up shorting the battery out, which starts burning him. He tells the driver, you gotta pull over right now. I gotta
blow out.
I gotta go to the bathroom so bad. He runs into the bathroom, tries to get this wire off. Travolta sees another guy go in after him. He's like, they're gonna fucking kill this dude. He runs in, but once he gets there, this guy is just hanging from that fucking wire.
Strong wire.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big dude.
It's late 70s wire, man.
I guess
Make
so.
it good back then.
Yeah, before planned obsolescence.
A lot of copper.
Yeah,
Meth
we
ruined
just
copper.
saw him go undercover. The copper.
I don't get it.
because he was an undercover copper. You know, like the police.
The band?
Yeah.
What?
It was a
They're from
sting.
England.
It was a sting.
Oh. I'm coming around now to this joke.
It only took a whole minute.
It's getting better as we keep it going, dude.
This is the thing, right? You just have to go through the valley in order to find the other side of it and start climbing out.
Well, now I'm thinking about it. I don't think I can name another member of the police.
Stuart Copeland.
Yep, the Cope man himself. But that was my other one. So
Guitarist or drummer?
Drummer.
I think he's drums. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a third guy in there.
yeah. He's stuck in the fields of gold. That actually doesn't even count because that's a Sting solo joint. So
Yeah, dude.
All right, Jack asks Sally if she'll stick around for a few days.
ass
He's like, let me figure all this shit out. Then you and we can leave together. We can get out of this dreadful city.
there's this great song that I really like from Hall & Oates called Fall in Philadelphia. And the whole song is like, fuck, I am trapped here for another fall, and I'm going to kill myself.
Do they spell fall with a PH?
Sadly, no. Probably because
Okay.
they're in the midst of rejecting their Philadelphia team.
Well, I say fuck that with a PH.
And you know what? I co-sign that.
That's fat, bro.
Yeah, also with a PH.
All right, Sally decides to stay. She's walking through this fish market. But guys, someone's following her.
What?
Incredible
So it's just
split
not a
diopter
fish
here.
market.
This place has clam soup?
It's Reading Terminal. It's Reading Terminal Market. It has all kinds of stuff.
A lot of fish.
I'm kind of with Kron. I mean,
It looked like a
my
fish
memory
market.
is fish is pretty prevalent.
Because this is after they take the subway, right? Or is it? Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take the subway, right?
I mean, when you leave there, you're smelling like one thing, and that's fish with a pH.
I guess so. And that smell is weed and patchouli.
Yeah.
All right, we do get this incredible split diopter, dead fish. Spike comes out of it as Sally's walking away. Guys, both shots are in focus.
Whoa.
Were your minds blown?
Yes. It looks amazing.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you've made me watch 42 Brian De Palma movies, so.
I made you watch 4.
But isn't it crazy that he's the only one doing them?
Who?
You would think that
so.
more people should be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
His buddies, I don't know if you know them, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, just to name a few.
George
First guy I
Lucas
don't
wouldn't know how to pull off a diopter if his fucking life depended on it, dude.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I think that's true.
He's the worst one out of all of them.
He would hear diopter and assume that that's some sort of like fancy X-wing.
Yeah. You'd be like, oh, it rhymes. It's like poetry.
I'll put that in CGI on the remake.
Oh, yeah, it'll be great.
Oh,
Dexter Jetster.
Put a little Jawa next to a diopter. What? What are you talking about, George?
And make sure you sue that new Heretic movie because it made a Jar Jar Binks joke in it. That's my money.
How was Heretic, Dan?
Not bad.
Cool.
I want to see it. I like Hugh Grant. He's a fun actor.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, I'll say this. If you're a Gold Star atheist, there's a lot of stuff in there that you probably already know, but it's still fun to watch. So check it out.
I don't need to have my beliefs christened. I find that there's
Wow,
strength in
how
kind of
ironic.
thrown into the
How
belly
ironic.
belly of the beast.
Well, you're welcomed in my neighborhood.
Yep.
And George, I did write a review for that one on
Yeah,
Letterboxd.
there we
So
go.
there you go.
That means that your opinion is valid. Congrats.
All right.
All right, so this guy who's following Sally, we see him basically like he gets a lady in a quarry. He starts choking her out. We get 2 huge reveals here. One, it's not Sally. It's just a lady that kind of looked like her from the back. And 2, guys, our assassin, his name is Burke, played by one of the greatest actors of all time, John Lithgow.
God with God.
George, does this happen to you often? You're just walking on the streets of Philadelphia and you fall into a giant hole.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened?
Genuinely, that does happen all the time. The potholes here are a fucking nightmare.
All right.
I can't even joke. It like just is a problem.
It's like a big hole.
Look,
God damn.
you gotta see these potholes, brother.
Well, this one they're digging out to put a building there.
That's how it starts, man. They all start as a pothole, and then they say, "Fuck it, we'll just put a building here."
Sounds like we're doing great things for the for the city of Philadelphia tonight.
And the silly of Philadelphia. That's me,
They should
baby.
just call it the silly. Yeah.
That's me. That's my title.
We jump back over to Sally at this point. She goes to see the guy who created the doctored video footage. This is what's his name? Sipowicz from
Dennis Franz.
Yeah, Dennis Franz. he tells her, like, hey, I was there that night, but I took off when that kid jumped in the water. Like, I don't even know how to swim, to tell you the truth. I don't know what this guy's play. I guess to let her die.
He said, well, he was saying, yeah, his plan was to let her die, I think. Because he doesn't care about her.
But it seems like these two had a scheme, right? Like, he would get these photos of her, like, as a call girl with guys that had money, and then they would essentially blackmail them. Like, this was their whole grift that they had going.
Well, I thought that it was like a divorce thing where, like, the wife would pay him to, like, lure the husband into a photo, like a blackmailable spot so that they would have leverage in the divorce proceedings to get a bigger chunk of change, maybe. Because I think they say that it's, like, something related to divorce at some point. Although that might have just been a tossed-off comment.
There's a cop later, and he's like, the guy in this photo offered me $1,000. His wife came back an hour later and offered me $3,000. But I guess I read that as, like, the guy was like, hey, I fucked around, but, like, you don't want to lose your position in the community, so, like, let's get this fucking photo off this guy.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know. It could be. Could be either one.
Could be either one. And isn't that what makes it so great? They say true art happens when you can agree on the mechanics of what's happening, but disagree on the interpretation. Do you know who said that? David Lynch.
Whoa.
Yeah.
A decent quote from a subpar filmmaker.
In between puffs on a cigarette.
That's right. We're all saying it.
Kron, you haven't seen the whole filmography.
I've seen quite a few of them at this point. Name one.
Elephant Man.
I've not seen that one.
That one sucks.
Try another.
Ugh, I'm not a monster. Shut the fuck up.
You look like it.
I've seen Mulholland Drive.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
You've seen Wild at Heart. I know that.
Best one.
I've seen,
as far as I'm
I've
concerned.
seen Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet. Fun fact, I have never scrambled for the remote faster than I did the first time that I was watching Blue Velvet, and he starts screaming, "Baby wants to fuck," at the top of his lungs. I said, uh-oh, the neighbors are going to hear this one.
So you turned it up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I said, lean in, lean in. Then I took a big hit off my nitrous tank, and I got fucking ripped.
We cut over back to Travolta. He's reviewing the little movie that he's made from these magazine photos. And he's like trying to sync the sound with it. And I think at this point in the movie, like, he can see that something has been snipped from the film. And there's this, like, very little brief flash in, like, a single frame. He's like, oh, shit, like, this guy got the gunshot, too. I think that's what's going on here.
Yep.
Jack's taken some precautions. He hides, like, the synced video that he has up in his ceiling. And I think this is really interesting. Like, I don't know at this point in the movie if someone is watching him. I don't think so. But they shoot this scene from, like, outside looking up into his window. And I think it's just to get the audience into, like, we are heading now head first into, like, paranoia territory.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kron, you don't hide shit in your ceiling?
Let's move on. Jack goes to see this guy who's a cop.
Take that as a yes.
Yeah, I'll take the first floor. You take the second, Dan.
All right.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Kron, just mail it to me, and I'll hold it. And
Nobody's getting any of my stuff. He goes to see this cop, and the cop is essentially like, you can't prove anything. Like, I'll take your evidence, but it's like all circumstance and, you know, your side of the story. He's just telling him can't really do much with it. He says, every conspiracy nut in this city has been in this office over this Ryan thing. What makes you any different?
Another connection to Zodiac.
Jack says, hey, if they can get away with this murder, just think who's next. And this cop is like, you got to tell me who they are first, dude. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I like this cop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's all right. It's
funny
funny
He's a little
because it's
stressed.
the problem
I don't like any cop.
Yeah, that's right. AK
Wow.
for sure. But this is just a movie, so
I hated this cop.
Yeah, exactly. So it's even worse. The fact that you would willingly fake being a cop, that's way worse. But it is just interesting to me that it's like even though it's very easy to be like, oh, take the step and just say like, oh, it's the president. Like it's easy to yell that from the audience seat. But we also think about what like an come from behind underdog, like challenging the incumbent political figure. Like they probably have a lot of enemies. And so it is difficult to nail it down to be like, oh, it was the president. And, you know, I can see how that would be, like, really challenging and frustrating for this character to be like, I want to give you that answer. I want to have a nailed down theory, but it's just so wide open because of who this guy was that, like, that is both the challenge and the, like, thing pushing it forward. Like, the fact that he is such a public figure means that it can't be hidden, but if they do hide it, then that's what he's saying. Like, imagine who's next, right? If they can kill this governor who's about to become president, well, then all bets are off.
And his position, having worked with the cops, works twofold. So you as the viewer were trained to go, dude, why aren't you going to the fucking cops yet? And this is double frustrating because he goes... He is a cop, and it's such a crazy conspiracy that they can't believe him.
Yeah.
So, and you get this out of the way early on, which allows a greater highway for paranoia to build.
Yep.
Well, and I think it's kind of like, you know, the actual Watergate situation, right? It's like the president in this movie wanted to do one kind of shady thing, but that gets fucked up, and then you got to do 10 worse things than the bad thing that you wanted to do in the first. It's like you have to keep ratcheting up.
Hold on. They did one bad thing, and then one guy took it upon himself to do a lot of other bad stuff.
Yes.
Which I think it maybe happened already. The scene where he like calls the dude to check in. Did that happen already? Or is
that's
that
like
upcoming?
right after this.
Oh, okay. So should I just wait or should I just jump it? Like, should I just start talking about?
I mean, it's my next note, so we can just jump there.
Go for it.
All right, so we do get Burke at a payphone. The guy on the other end is like, "What the fuck have you done?" Pretty sure this is probably the president, right? Like, that's kind of what we're.
I don't even think it's the
manager.
president. I think it's just like the like intermediary who set things up.
Is he the guy that was on the TV?
Definitely a representative of the president.
Was he on the TV earlier?
Oh, was that him? I don't think it was the same guy, was it?
Oh,
I don't know. That could be.
Maybe.
But this guy is kind of like, what the fuck?
All these fucking white guys look the same.
It's true.
Yeah, old white bald dudes. They all just kind of blur.
It's just another clown in Congress, am I right?
Mm-hmm. But he asked Burke, like, what the fuck did you do? All we wanted to do was get some photos of Ryan with a call girl, like get him out of the race that way. And Burke is essentially like, yeah, I heard your plan and it didn't go far enough. So I took it upon myself to do what needed to be done.
I think the way that he's talking as well is really interesting and really reveals a lot about his character in that, like, whether he was actually military or not, he's speaking in this very, like, clipped tone that, to me, says that he, like, views himself as, like, the special forces guy who's, like, able to do this black bag op, right? That like he is the wet works guy, able to do the things that need to be done. And on the other side, he's confronted with the reality of it. Like, he's living the fantasy of what these psychos want to be able to do. These people who are like, I know what the political system needs in order to fix it is for me to murder the incoming president and also like all fake a serial killer in Philadelphia by becoming a serial killer in Philadelphia. Like that's a fantasy for him. And on the other side is this guy being like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm on your side in theory. And like, this is psychotic. You went way too far. It's not what we wanted. But I think
talking about.
That's true. That is true. But it also, I think for me, says something about like the dangers of corruption, right? Where you think like, oh, it couldn't hurt to help my candidate out by faking these photos. But next thing you know, you've unleashed a serial killer upon Philadelphia. Even a little bit of corruption is too much because you never know what you might do. I know you have the more you know clip ready to go now, so.
Oh, I gotta dig through all those fucking downloads.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Freesound.com.
Porn.
Yeah.
More you know clip.
Baby wants to fuck. Baby wants to fuck remix. Baby wants to fuck dubstep. Baby wants to fuck acapella. Baby.
That's just the dialogue clip.
Oh, man. So, I sent my song to George, but me, Bones, and Dan always send a song to each other on record day. And I can't remember what I put into Spotify, but I was searching stuff like Blowout, Philadelphia, and I just put the word in and I hit songs. And I saw this one song and it had the weirdest cover of like a chick in a bikini. And I was like, but it looked like somebody had literally cut a piece of paper out and like slapped it onto another like black piece of construction paper. I was like, this looks fucking weird. And I put the song on and it is literally, I think someone who took clips of porn and then put effects on them. And like, that's the entire album.
Wow. That's Philly, baby.
It's fucking weird.
That guy, he sourced those sound effects from Delilah's.
So you're really scared that Wrapped is coming out here in like next month? So we're gonna know what you listen to.
It seemed deranged, like a sick person made it. Yeah.
Okay, note to self: Kron doesn't like my work. The thing I've been cooking up since post Best Little Horror House. Not flying with the 5DR boys.
I'll send it to you later. It's in my recently played.
George's like, I got a shitload of downloads today.
Mm-hmm.
What's that like?
Yeah, it must be fun.
That's gotta feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I don't hate it, boys.
Okay, that guy on the phone with Burke, he's like, don't ever fucking call us again, dude. This shit is over. But Burke is like, well, we've got some loose ends to tie up. Like, one, Carp has gone missing, so that's okay. Tells him, 2, I already switched the tire on the car to make it look like a blowout. 3, I've already erased all that guy's tapes. But 4, the girl, someone needs to take care of her. So he basically says, I'm going to make it look like...
you created this.
Mm-hmm. But he essentially tells him, like, I'm making it look like a series of random sex killings. That's how we're going to deal with this situation.
Yeah, he eventually calls in, like, a fake call to the police that's like, she made me do it. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to.
That's pretty good.
Jack goes back to
Sounds
the
like
office.
You made that call before, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
We can move on.
Jack goes back to his office. His boss.
We didn't actually have to. I was trying to jokingly brush past it, like a bit, but.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was moving past it like you were serious.
Yeah.
Because
Covered up a lot here.
Thank you, Kron. I actually do appreciate that, and also just to keep it going, that would have made sense. But instead, I've slowed us down even more, and now we can go.
That's what.
All right, his boss
all
chews
about,
him
George.
out for a little bit for not working on the movie. Jack says, "Hey man, I'm on it." He goes to the sound room. He starts loading up some tapes, but everything is all fucked up. Now, this shot of the movie is fucking incredible. Camera spinning around, Jack moving in and out of the scene, grabbing tapes. You just hear this like fucked up noise audio playing. This is good stuff.
You know, not many people will notice this, but the spiraling camera is actually kind of reflective of his mind state as well.
Whoa.
We just became a movie podcast.
We're moving into the big leagues tonight, boys.
Shit. We just popped a fucking ball hair, dude. Look at that.
Do you think they'll let us play the train station in Philadelphia?
I don't see why not.
I think we're playing stadiums from here on out.
Yeah, Wells Fargo Center welcomes you.
We're not too far away from podcasters like busking, right? And just doing a podcast
on
in
the
a
street.
subway.
Oh, there is a podcast that's just like two dudes that they like sit outside and they have a third microphone so that people who pass by, if they're interested, can like jump in and like jump into the conversation and shit.
How many times have you been on this show?
None times. They're much more famous than I ever will be.
Jack gets a call from the detective that he met with earlier. And he's like, dude, what's the fucking deal? You gave me blank fucking tape. There ain't shit on here.
What a moron.
Mm-hmm. Eventually this like little Weasley news guy comes to see Jack. He's like, hey dude, I heard you got the fucking tape. Like, let me get some of that shit. We'll put it on the news. I'll interview you. We'll make buku bucks.
Buku bucks, indeed.
Mucho good life.
He will become Brewster's Millions.
The pure distilled version.
That's right.
Jack goes to check on Sally. He's like, the situation's all fucked up. The only film I have left is the duplicate that I hid in my ceiling. And basically it's like lab made. They're going to know this was created in a lab. There's no way to prove this was actually shot night of. Jack lays it out. He's like, you got to go get the undoctored footage from Carp so I can resync the audio and then we can present that. Like, that's the way to do it. I think he tells her at this point, like, if you go with me, you're either crazy or you're dead. Like, everyone already thinks I'm starting to, like, come loose at the hinges, so you can either jump on with me or they're just going to start cutting the loose ends on this thing. That's you and me.
Yeah, it's if you come with me, you're crazy. If you don't, you're dead.
Yeah. Sally goes to see Carp. He says the plan got fucked up. This guy, Burke, he just wanted to cause an issue.
He was only going to give us $6,000, sweetie.
Mm-hmm. Tells him, like, listen, we were going to pull Ryan out of the car. We were going to pull you out of the car. They just wanted his campaign to be over. They wanted to ruin this guy.
Did you notice that they put more stains on his shirt to indicate the passage of time?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's filmmaking, baby.
Smart stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we come back next week for the podcast, you'll probably have one or two on that hoodie. It's pure white, dude.
No. It ain't white. That's a tasteful beige.
There's going to be a mustard stain on that thing.
Yeah, there's going to be a tasteful stain.
See, there's a white shirt for reference.
Okay. I can see that's different.
There is a difference. Yeah.
But that's going to have mustard or chili or hot sauce on it.
Maybe some combination of all three.
Then you'll never see this hoodie again because I'll be
Dorito dust.
embarrassed. Oh, dude. Those flaming hot Cool Ranch
Ooh, they're
Doritos,
good.
I get that dust everywhere.
The Cool Ranch is the best
My wife
one.
she knows I ate that whole bag.
That's why she buys 2.
Yeah. Even last time to try to hide my dust, I used the towels that we keep by the door for like to dry the dogs off. I still got busted.
You guys got hers where you're at?
No.
Hers?
Dang.
Hers chips.
Yeah.
Is that like the ladies' version of Hims?
Yeah, that's right.
Like pills to make their all wet and stuff? And
That's right. And it also gives them double hair.
So it's like
I really made myself laugh.
those thick eyebrows are coming back, baby.
so both things are good. How do I get these pills, dude?
Baby, your clit is huge, but you got the hair. I can't see it.
Yeah. The hairier the bush, the smaller the clit, right? It's the inverse of.
A big clit guy likes a shave.
You have to frame it. You have to really frame it nicely.
You're here for the clit, not the fuzz.
Yeah. No, hers is a chip brand that they have some delicious stuff, and they have the best hot. They're basically like Cheetos. They do chips, but they also do like cheese puffs. Basically, is what I guess you would call it, a cheese curl. And their hot ones are really good because you can still taste some of the cheese, in my opinion, which I think is lost in a flaming hot Cheeto. But they also do pretty good, like, honey glazed ones. But what they've recently done is they have combined these dusts into a hot honey cheese curl. And they are revelatory.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. So if you got hers where you're at, 10 out of 10, check them out.
Might give him a shot. I don't seek out honey.
I would not say it's ordinarily something I seek out either, but in conjunction with the heat, I think it's working overtime. I would never. The plain honey ones would be my bottom choice.
Okay.
Not because they're bad. I think they're fine. But the other ones are just better. The hot ones and the regular cheese ones. And then this, the combination of the two, between the best and the worst one, truly better than the sum of the parts, in my opinion.
Okay. I love a chip.
Yeah.
I love a chip.
Yeah. What about the Old Bay ones?
I fuck with Old Bay. I don't think I've seen them on a cheese curl, but that would be interesting. They definitely do have an Old Bay chip that is pretty good. If I'm craving Old Bay, I'm probably going for the Goldfish, to be honest.
They got a Stubbs original barbecue. Okay. I fucks with that.
Yeah, all right. Oh, you're on the website?
Yeah, I'm ordering.
Oh, hell yeah.
Guys, watch your mailboxes.
Oh, dude, please send me some chips. I haven't had a
Honey sriracha?
carb in months.
Quit stealing my catchphrase.
What?
Watch your mailboxes.
I've
Watch your mailbox.
Just send it, Bones. Already. Dan already said it. I'm saying it.
He's doing
It's
doing
in
the
this
Unabomber
podcast
thing.
already, dude. Let's end the podcast.
He's doing the Unabomber thing.
Yeah. And
He
I'm telling
knows.
him to mail me a bomb right now.
A bomb ass chip.
Speaking of bomb, let's continue this podcast.
All right. Eventually, Carp kind of forces himself on Sally. She takes a fucking J&B bottle and smashes it over his head. But guys, she picks up that unedited film. Also, really great overhead shot on this thing. Looks beautiful. Next morning, Jack meets with Sally. He's changed his mind. He wants to meet with the news guy because he's got the fucking undoctored footage. I mean, he's got something to present. But we also see that Burke has tapped Jack's phone and he's listening to all this shit. After Sally leaves, Burke, I don't know, puts an alligator clip on something and, takes Jack's phone out of commission. It's busy all the time, so Burke calls Sally, and he's like, I'm the news guy. Come meet with me. I can't get a hold of Jack. Cut over to Sally. She's meeting with Jack. The news guy tried to call you. but he wants me to go because your phone is all fucked up.
I've been here all day.
Mm-hmm. And Jack is instantly like, something is not right here. Like, we're involved in this shit. They're trying to get to us. This is all part of the conspiracy. He says, I'm going to put a wire on you. I'll be close by. We'll make sure this thing is on the up and up.
Now, sorry. I'm not trying to... Why not just go straight to the fucking news station?
Mm-hmm.
Why not take her and just go? Like...
Yeah. I mean, I think it is a good question, and I don't have a good answer. But I do think it would be more glaring of a question had they not given you the wire flashback. Like, it's almost like because he fucked that one up, he wants to do this one right, you know?
I would also say that you see pretty early on that he is reluctant to talk with the news at all. He has already been in this paranoia spiral, and then the fact that he has to like call the guy back to be like, okay, actually, I will give you the footage because, you're our only hope. That's his contact. He's basically a crazy person as far as anyone else at the news station knows. If that guy is not trustworthy, then who knows what's actually going on, right?
It's not enough to totally knock it, but when I was rewatching it, I thought I'm not really digging why he's sending her off on this. And you make a good point, Kron. I mean, just in terms of
my name's actually George.
It's a good one, George. It's a good one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm still going to call you Greg before the end of the night, so don't push it. But just in terms of, the George Lucas rhyming construction of the story, I get. This is probably the cleanest way to get a wire on her.
Yeah.
And as you're starting to put Lithgow in it more often, without him actually directly engaging with him, right? What were you saying, Dan?
I was saying to see her naked.
Okay.
Yeah, like every once in a while, I'm like, hey, babe, you got to wear a wire. She's like, huh?
Again?
I'm like, yep.
Oh, your hers is coming in, huh? Makes that tape hard to stick.
Hey, you don't get real sweaty down here, right?
You know what? I think you should shave your chest because it looks hairier than mine. Shit.
Bones, I do think it's a valid question, though.
Okay.
Like, you could have gone straight to the news, or honestly, could have just gone into the train station with, like, there are a lot of...
Yeah, he could have gone with her.
...approaches that would have been better than what they ended up doing.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Let's see. So we cut over to the train station. Burke is there. He overhears this hooker picking up a John. He can't help himself. He's like, I gotta kill some more women to make this serial killer thing click with the public.
This lady's taking care of the troops, and he's...
She pays for it with her life.
So fucked up, man. This he thinks he's a patriot.
We also haven't discussed why all these people are in town, which is for the Liberty Day parade.
Yeah, the Liberty Day. They're going to ring a replica bell that's been made out of pennies contributed by school children.
That's hasn't been rang in 100 years, George. Come on.
That's right. We all know the Liberty Day parade. We all love the Liberty Day parade. It's not the Mummers Day parade. Mummers are old and busted. Liberty Day is the new hotness. The blowout was actually, when I did the finale for Best Little Horror House in Philly, one of the movies that I mentioned being most surprised did not get picked for Best Little Horror House in Philly. Partially because of the Philadelphia element. It felt like one that people might pick as sort of a pander pick. For me, I like De Palma. I love Philadelphia. I like this movie a lot. So I did a little bit of research in it as I was talking about it for the finale, and I did look up what the anniversary or what the Liberty Bell's last ringing was. I don't know if, Dan, in your research, did you find this information, or shall I reveal it here in this moment?
The world is yours.
Does anyone want to guess?
The last time they rung the
50s.
real Liberty Bell?
The real Liberty Bell, when it last rang, and or why, like what the celebratory cause was.
Oh, I would think like
Bicentennial? Sorry.
Oh, I would think like maybe after like World War II they would ring it.
After 9/11.
I guess I'm just bummed that they're not ringing it all the time.
Well, it's cracked.
Okay. Get a new
the
bell.
Answer, yeah, well, look, hey, you know what? You got it. You might as well fucking use it, right?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
With you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Or take it down and put it in a museum.
It is in a museum.
Okay, then put a new one up.
Up where?
In the Liberty Tower.
The last time that this bell rang was February 23rd, 1846, for George Washington's birthday. Happy birthday, George. You fucked up the bell.
Was it even cracked at that point?
No, that's when it cracked.
Oh, fucking
And
6 foot
Hasn't rang
tall.
since. Hasn't rang
6 foot
since.
tall George Washington broke it.
Yeah. He beat the fuck out that thing.
It's also
What were
when
you gonna say,
insurance was invented.
we should ring it
Warranty.
again and see what it sounds like
Yeah.
now, you know?
There is a faux one, I believe, maybe even made from the same mold. That does occasionally ring.
I think it would heal the country if we ring the bell again.
Isn't it like 24 karat gold?
Shit,
No,
dog.
it's
I'm,
just
about,
made
to,
out of,
I'm
like-
about to steal the damn Liberty Bell. No, it's made out of children's pennies, bro. Didn't you fucking watch the movie?
I think the real one's probably just made out of like
pins.
fucking pewter or something, some garbage
No,
material.
I think that they are all children's pennies.
It's really made out of children's pennies?
They say in this movie that the replica they're ringing, it was made out of pennies that were
Oh,
melted
fuck.
down.
I'm talking about the
In
real
order,
shit.
in order to most correctly replicate the true thing, they collected the Revolutionary War children's pennies
So it's made out of copper.
and hay pennies
Yeah, this one would be
and
made
farthings and shillings.
out of copper
Finnings.
Hear ye.
with a little bit of zirc in it, probably.
Hear ye,
Or
hear
zinc.
ye.
Not
Put,
zirc.
put thy penny in the pot.
Sounding like Laundry Dan on this podcast. Zerk.
I didn't drink these heavy IPAs.
I didn't want to call you out. I thought, oh, maybe this dude actually knows metallurgy.
I corrected to zinc.
Yeah.
Sir.
Is that 100% Zerk? God damn.
You gotta
Okay,
take
okay,
you gotta
Mel.
take your zinc, dudes. You gotta take your zinc.
Hey, you know what I say? Zinks stinks.
You know, the right stomach conditions, it'll blow out your booty hole.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
So we call it
And we're
360.
back in.
You gotta figure out what works for you.
All right, guys. This hooker is trying to convince this sailor, like, how about $60 for 60 minutes? And he's like, no, I think I got like $20 for 20 minutes. They keep haggling back and forth, but we cut over to them in the phone booth, and this guy maybe made it a minute, and he's like,
It's so funny.
the way this guy screams, he's like, oh, shit.
He's been away at sea.
Well, he's also telling her like not so like she's going a little aggressive.
Okay, Bones.
Okay.
Hey,
I watched the movie.
Think about baseball, bro. Think about baseball.
Bones, when
Doesn't
you're
work.
the top of your game, you don't hold back. I mean, this lady, she's getting paid for 30 minutes and work she can do in one, dude.
Okay. There's two sides to every story. Okay? I'm just saying, don't throw this guy.
We're the
Underneath the
objective
phone
third
booth.
camera. We
Was
see it.
Was it a mouth job?
Yeah,
Yeah, she's blowing him.
she is doing.
I mean, I think for him, that was like the warm up, and he was going to have
Yeah.
sex with her, but this guy, he bust
he
instantly.
busts right
Yeah.
quick.
So
right
shouldn't
quick.
that be more money for her?
No.
Well, he
it
only
was-
gives her 10. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they negotiated to 30.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, guys, Lithgow is watching all this. He holds up a 50 right up against the glass, points at his mouth.
Good.
This lady, she kind of motions like, give me 5 minutes. She starts going to the bathroom, but Lithgow follows her.
Brush my teeth.
I love that she's a pro and she's washing out and brushing her teeth, you know?
Yeah.
It's
81, man.
Yeah, those are little things that'll give you a
Philadelphia,
5-star
treat
review.
you right, baby.
Yeah.
She is brushing her teeth, but we see Lithgow. He's in the stall next to the sink. He's got a crazy little like garrote wire.
He just couldn't wait.
Watch.
What? You think she's using like a Crest or a Colgate, something with some Zerk in it?
You think he got this watch from like James Bond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Q supplied it.
But that is QAnon.
Yeah.
Guys, he chokes this lady. She's fucking done. Let's see. Sally arrives at the train station. He's got her all wired up. He's like, hey, listen, if you need me, just talk to me. I'm right here in the car. I'll be able to hear you. Burke meets with Sally, and Jack instantly knows that things are fucked up. Like, that's not the weird news guy's voice.
Well, he's also hustling her away.
Mm-hmm. So Jack runs in. He starts trying to figure out where they are. He ends up losing them right as they get onto a train. He runs back out to his Jeep, kind of tries to race to the next stop, but he ends up driving like right into a fucking store window.
Oh my god. Let's break this down. All right, I'm gonna be the Philadelphia guy here. Okay, they get on the Market Frankfurt line. They're on their way down to the fucking pier. He's rushing down, right? He goes through City Hall in this Jeep, crashes right into the Macy's on the other side in the Wanamaker building, where I used to work.
Whoa.
Fuck yeah.
He fucking smashes right into these windows. These windows are famous here in Philadelphia because they do a lot of Christmas displays, and also
they're from the movie Blowout.
They're also from the movie Blowout, of course. You didn't let me finish, Kron. But yeah, they do. The Macy's does. Actually, I just heard that there was like talk about this Macy's moving, but the Macy's does a lot of like Christmas displays there, and it is cool. Because so many places, like, you know, they're like, Philadelphia, fuck it. Like, we'll film elsewhere and just pretend it. We'll go to Toronto and just call it Philadelphia. But when something not only films here, but, like, films into, like, the landmarks that are so distinctly Philadelphia, like 30th Street Station, like, driving a fucking Jeep through City Hall, which is mind-boggling. Like, watching it looks so fucking cool, and I'm like, oh my god, if I were there, I would be losing my fucking mind. It's just like it's like a real Philly moment, this chase scene. It feels good as a Philadelphian for the geography to like make sense, for everything to like line up. Like, I think about National Treasure, which is a movie that I do love, but like, when he's running around the city, basically things just get jumbled up. Like, the geography doesn't really make sense of him to just be, like, running to the next thing. But here, like, his path is followable in a way that is really fun for me as someone who does live in this city, so.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Big nods from the group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little hesitant because I think my main complaint with this movie is this car chase.
What the hell?
Looks dangerous.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, they could have just CGI'd this whole thing.
Yeah,
George,
dude. Come on.
Yeah, this is also when he gets mad about the bad rear projection.
That's a number one. I don't know. It's got some Nolan-y. I appreciate that
just because they go backwards in time, it feels like Nolan to you.
Yeah, and I know a lady's about to get killed. I don't know, man.
That's fair. That is fair.
I love that helicopter shot over City Hall. I think that looks great, but the kineticism of it does not play for me. Going to the rear projection, the sort of French Connection-y bumper camera, it just feels very chopped together, and I'm waiting for Dan to cut in and say, wasn't there lost footage from this?
Don't look like he's jumping in to say
No?
that.
Okay.
Bones, there is lost footage.
Okay.
For this.
You
They-
know,
Oh, fuck.
no. You tell him. You tell him. I'll call him.
I didn't think he lived in Philadelphia.
Hey!
Whoa. It's BDP.
The Palma here.
Oh my
Back
god,
again.
I'm a huge fan.
Who's this guy?
Hi, I'm George. Just love your films.
Who are you guys talking about tonight?
I mean,
Body Heat.
potentially your Body Heat. Potentially your best movie ever, Blowout.
That's not you stupid. You think that's my best movie?
I also said it wasn't your best. I'm so sorry for him, Brian.
Hey. I'm talking to these two right now.
Apologies.
You can use our names at any point.
Laundry Dan is not. He's
Why?
not being threatened.
They've never met.
Why do you think Blowout's my best movie? Is it Travolta's hair?
Yeah,
Every
it's
day,
Travolta's hair.
Every day with the hair. Just every day. You know how many
got-
times that hair ruined my shots? It looks gorgeous, but jeez. Enough with the hair.
I would say maybe because you're leaning into your strengths as a cinematographer, but also knowing how to restrain it in a way that the story unfolds naturally versus, it's there's substance and style in this versus maybe some of your latter work. I would also say the fact that, it's a highly personal story to you versus, a journeyman thing that you've done.
I'm
I
a
don't know, it's
director.
a
I'm not
pretty
allowed to touch
timeless-
the camera.
Okay. I mean,
I'm so sorry for
fair
him.
enough.
I think on a lot of your early movies,
I was trying.
You did both things, to be honest.
I made De Niro. That's what I did. I don't get credit for it, but I did it.
I agree.
Any of you see Blow Up?
I have not.
That's the one about the doll?
It's boring.
I got
did it
blown.
better.
I got blown during Up.
Oh.
That's just sad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of depressing.
I didn't
honestly,
last
Bones.
5 minutes, man.
That's fucking terrible.
Oh,
I was
boy.
crying out of both ends.
That's terrible, FEMA man. Mustache.
Hey, FEMA's doing a lot with what little funding they got.
I don't know the current events right now. It's
He's an old man, Bones.
But what it sounds like is America needs me back to
Yes.
maybe,
Oh, a new Liberty Day parade is
Redact.
calling for you.
That's my best movie, Kron.
Redacted.
Yeah.
I turned it off 30 minutes in.
But you missed out.
I agree to disagree.
Did you-
should go back.
Did you redact the DVD from the player?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got it from the red box. I pulled the DVD out. I Sharpied on the back of it, so it was redacted, and I fucking returned it.
Wow.
I don't believe any of this. Who's this new guy with you?
I think you already asked this, and he answered.
George.
He's an old man. I have to do it again. Hello, I'm George.
I think I heard you on Mad God.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Another
You're
movie.
part of
about-
that best horror show, The Horrors of Philly.
That's right, and we have
I'm from
discussed some of
Philly.
your work.
Yeah, I'm from Philly.
I'm a big fan, and of course, I celebrate your heritage.
My
Best-
dad was a surgeon.
I didn't know that.
Best Horrors of Philly sounds like a reality show Kron's wife watches.
Best Horse of Philly. What is it? That lady in the damn phone booth?
Well,
Yeah, she's number one, dude.
She was.
You guys talking about Missy Cleveland?
Okay, dude, people still say Michael Jordan is the best basketball player of all time.
He
He's not
is.
playing anymore.
Yeah, once you reach the Hall of Fame. You're the benchmark, baby.
I think this train station whore is number one forever.
I think so. She earned it.
Hey, BDP, question for you.
Yes, sir.
I mean this in no offense. You took a lot from Hitchcock.
Yeah, he's an inspiration. I can't deny that. I like putting a little bit of him in every film that I make. So,
And Quentin Tarantino's taken a lot from you.
It's allowed. It's allowed.
Yeah.
Homage.
How do you feel?
I didn't make Travolta, but him seeing my work made him again, and then he went down again. So you guys have seen it personally. That's a fanatic. Come on.
Okay. Yeah.
He calls me a lot.
An overall thesis. How do you feel about the snowball effect of film, and where do you see your influence potentially 20 years from now?
Wow. Interesting. What a question.
I hope I'm not around. This got ended.
Bones, send BDP a package.
Man,
to FedEx.
I tried really hard on that question too.
That was a good question.
Yeah, I'm gonna give me
Unfortunately,
I think I deserve a lot more credit than what people give me.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
That's what I honestly think. I think you got my buddies, George and Steven and
We're friends? Oh, wow.
Martin and all that. I think I deserve to be up there too, but I think I chose to, play in a different arena and make some different stuff. And, you can't deny that I haven't been an inspiration to a lot of the younger directors out there today. But, your life is what you live, Holy mackerel, we're getting deep here tonight. I haven't even had
A real film podcast twice over.
How'd you find us, dude? We're on the lam, by the way.
Yeah, I get the invite every week. Don't act like you don't.
God damn it.
BDP, I think we were talking about the footage that got stolen from this movie.
Yeah, some fucking dumbass left the van out. We're getting some food or something and didn't see it.
Like a cheesesteak? Getting a cheesesteak?
I don't know what it was, but yeah, left it gone. Had to redo it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, never been seen to this day.
Wow.
I would love to get that footage.
Yeah.
Hey, if you've got it, hit me up.
I don't.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the 13 people that listen to this podcast.
Little tweak might actually bring that up to a 5-star for old Bonesy,
Wow.
Wow.
This isn't a 5-star for you.
It's split the diff there.
What is? How did you three?
There's no helping some people. BDP.
Come together and get the guy.
It's no
that
Jack
just,
Reacher.
George, did any of my films were best horror?
They certainly were, Brian.
Which one?
Carrie is in fact our 10th highest downloaded episode ever.
Did you know Johnny and Nancy worked together?
They're in that as well. That's absolutely correct. And the charisma and camaraderie that they have shows, I think, in this the comfort and that they have with each other.
Anything else besides Carrie?
I think that was the only one covered as the best, unfortunately. As you said, a lot of people don't give the proper respect that you deserve. I think many of your movies deserve to be in the conversation. I happen to love Sisters in particular. I think that's a really great one. Yeah. So, if I had any control at all over what movies got picked, trust me, you'd be in there a lot more.
Oh, well, I thank you.
I also did want to talk about the best horrors of Philadelphia again real quick, because I forgot to, of course, shout out famous adult film star Nadia White, who she has set the record at one of my favorite taco places for eating 20 tacos in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So she simply must get at least second place in the best horrors of Philadelphia.
Wow, she must have hoovered those things down, dude.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It is wild. It is wild. She is in first place on the board. Oink Oink got second by six seconds later. Sorry, Oink Oink.
You know, it didn't seem like they hired her for the speeches. They hired her for her mouth.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Anyway, wonderful show tonight, guys. What are you doing next week? Pop in. You doing a Kron? What are you doing, Carrie?
Hey, we'd exclusively cover your stuff and John Carpenter films if it was up to me, buddy.
Carpy, you know.
Hey, I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
Opening sequence in next week's movie almost as bloody, if not more, than the end of Carrie.
Oh. All right. Jason goes to hell. The hand comes up.
Oh. It's a
we,
good one, dude.
we covered that already.
Oh, no,
Underrated.
Freddy versus
I
Jason.
fucking hate that movie so much.
Oh, you're wrong.
I
dude.
could direct the hell out of a horror movie, but good thing I have respect. I gotta go, guys. Who is it? John Travolta? What the hell?
Oh.
Hey, he's calling me.
Wait. Break.
Put him on, dude.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, put him on.
Tell him there's 3 dudes here who want to meet him.
Yeah, we were really debating
would-
his best role earlier, so.
He's with his boyfriend.
That's nice.
All right, well. All right, I gotta go, guys.
We'll let them be.
I might come in. Yeah, later.
Okay, goodbye,
thanks,
Brian. It was
BDP.
lovely to meet
Kisses.
you. Smooches.
All right, guys, we cut over to that night.
What
Jack
a
wakes
piss.
up. Jack wakes up in the back of an ambulance. He's like, oh shit, what fucking time is it? Where am I? But he can still hear the audio. They're close. We cut over to Burke and Sally. He gets the tape finally. He just fucking unspools this thing, wraps it up, and chucks it in the river.
So that's simple,
And
baby.
Mm-hmm. That easy to destroy evidence.
He doesn't have to kill her.
Sally says Jack's going to be pretty mad at you. Jack's racing to find these two. They are still in range, but sadly, he does start hearing her get murdered. She's calling out for him. As Jack races up, Sally's getting stabbed. Jack grabs Burke's knife, kills him with it, but Sally is sadly already gone. Guys, we fade to black. We reemerge in the harsh Philadelphia winter.
I mean, yeah, we definitely cut to the harsh Philadelphia winter, but there's these beautiful fireworks happening,
Dreamlike.
illuminating the scene in these giallo-esque reds and blues as the killer has strangled yet another woman. Certainly, as much as BDP pays homage to Hitchcock, there is a lot of that Italian horror in here as well.
I would say he does that pretty frequently.
For sure, We should have maybe talked to him about that while he was here.
It's like out of
nutcase.
I think out of all the people in his heyday of making movies, he was probably I don't know if I'd say like the most influenced by giallo, but probably incorporated it the best into Western films.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And anyone who can find something better is a liar.
Mm-hmm.
And a thief.
Hey, if you've got one, tell it to me. I'll watch it and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
We'll make a show about it. We'll invite you on and tell you you're wrong to your face.
Wow.
All right. In this winter scene, Jack is listening back to the tape right at the moment of the murder. We cut over and we're watching that murder scene from that shitty movie they were making. They've used Sally's scream in the film.
Wow.
Jack says, good scream. It's a good scream. It's a good scream. And as they start playing it back, Jack plugs his ears. He can't take it anymore. Roll the credits, guys. That's Blowout from 1981.
Wow.
Directed by the one and only Brian De Palma.
What a film.
With a PH.
That's right.
Yeah, nice. It's a 360.
Guys, I
A
think
classic.
we take a little pee break here and come back for some after plot discussion points. I don't know. This is a new format for us for this banquet
So
thing.
weird.
We'll figure it out. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the 5-Day Rentals podcast. You are still listening to the blowout episode. A shorter break for you than it was for us because we don't have ads. We will not be told what to say.
Hell yeah. Dude, I was so fucking mad when they just fucking randomly put ads on my show. I was so fucking mad.
What, on like Spot? I don't think Spotify did, right?
Podbean did.
Oh.
I was on everything. Podbean just like randomly was inserting programmatic ads into my show.
It was like,
Damn.
it was cut George off and go into an ad. And I was
And
like,
I had no idea until someone was like, "Hey, when did you start doing ads on your show?"
it's like, oh shit, George got ads. Cool. That's all I was like, all right.
I was furious. I was literally livid.
Those are the worst ones, too, when it's like you're halfway through a sentence and it just cuts out to like a fucking Hers ad talking about how hairy your chick can get.
Or how big that click can get.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that normally in the course of the show.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I did prepare some questions ahead of time that I thought might
Fuck.
spur some discussion. I did send you one ahead of time. We'll start with that one. I sent it ahead of time because I thought after we talked about this movie for 2 hours, it might be hard to come up spur of the moment with an answer. But I will ask it now. And this was, I don't know how, I wasn't sure how I would answer this question. I think I've come up with something. But the question is this the best movie about making movies? Or which one would you prefer? Also, please don't all say Argo. Okay.
Argo, fuck yourself.
Damn it.
God damn it. I can either jump in or if one of you's got something.
I mean, I have something off that I'm ready to rip into if you want to let me jump in there. So, I would definitely say that I do tend to enjoy the more postmodern takes. I definitely.
Nobody really talks about female hair thinning, and that can make it hard for women to bring up or even describe. Whether it's a receding hairline, postpartum hair loss, or even stress-related thinning, women want a personalized solution, and that's exactly what Hers offers. At forhers.com, you can take their free online hair quiz, share some info about your health history, and a medical provider can recommend a treatment just for you. Plus, Hers offers a full range of prescription treatments formulated for all hair types. Take the hair quiz today at forhers.com.
We like a lot of movies like Burden of Dreams or Tropic Thunder, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or Ed Wood or even Living in Oblivion, but those are kind of more about the challenges of making a movie and the process itself. Even sort of a outside of the box take on that, like The Killer, is still really about like the process of making a movie. But what they're less about is what it takes from you to sell yourself and your dreams to be creative within the machine. And to me, one of the best questions that a movie about making movies can ask is it worth it? I think this is an especially valuable question as the landscape shifts. We see it in Singing in the Rain, talking about the approach of sound. And I personally am curious to see what happens as people react to the legitimately insidious AI threat. I think it is existential, not just for movies, but as human beings who value creativity, I do genuinely think that this is an existential challenge that we're facing right now. But movies about how poisonous movies are, while disguised as a movie celebrating movies, that's something that I really enjoy. It stuck out a lot in 2022. You had Nope, Fabelmans, and Babylon, all three of them claim to be positive about movies, but I think with a little digging really are very negative about Hollywood in particular. Babylon, I really felt was like misunderstood. Definitely had issues. I felt like it was a little too cleanly directed. But we're watching the main character literally and figuratively becoming a ghoul. And then once Hollywood has chewed up these people and spit them out, it did the same exact thing with their story in the form of Singing in the Rain. Just more kitschy gristle for the mill. And so it's hard for me to see some of these conclusions as positive. You know, it so easily seduces these people. We just see 3 hours of it taking so much from damaged people. And then it's to do what? To provide a place for audiences to stuff our dumb faces with popcorn and smooch as teenagers? Like, is that worth what it's taking from these people? And it's particularly cool for me to see this perspective from already marginalized people who are like, well, I might as well make this Faustian bargain, right? I'm already marginalized to hell. I'm already being punished for just being me. I might as well scrabble up the ladder a little bit and claim some power if I'm already going to be punished. So within this sphere of movies that I think are importantly asking what the value of movie making is, there are a few that stand out even further. You have questioning what's left to explore after the new kings of Hollywood have had their fill in Under the Silver Lake. You have putting your body and soul into a project despite the risks in Deerskin. You have becoming someone you don't even recognize to get ahead in Mulholland Drive. But these all rest on the shoulders of, for me, the best movie about making movies, which is Sunset Boulevard. Billy Wilder is one of the GOATs of classic Hollywood, and he had witnessed this transition from no sound into sound as a youth, and then built a career in Hollywood and saw how it treated people, women in particular. A lot of silent film stars still lived in the mansions around him, but he said, quote, "The parade had passed them by." But to me, it's a lot like the parade in Paprika. It's a manic frenzy of forward movement that's trampling the people who fall behind underneath, while the tramplers have a plastic smile on their face. And the secondary part of it, though, is that it is a parade. It looks amazing from outside. It's fun to be a part of. And so these stragglers are clinging desperately to their place, and the people outside the parade go, God, it looks so fun to be part of that. I wish so badly that I could join the parade, that I would give anything. And you don't see the people trampled underneath. And then on top of just what it has to say about, you know, being a woman in Hollywood and having your life essence literally extracted, put on film, and then you're cast aside because you no longer fit the bill, that's powerful enough on its own. But then the performances are incredible. Every role, it's true, but to be honest, it's the Gloria Swanson and William Holden show. They are both incredible. It's beautifully shot. It's entrancing. It's tragic. It's the best movie about making movies.
A very well thought out answer. I think I watched Sunset Boulevard for the first time just like I think a couple years ago. And I mean I did think it was amazing. It was like, I don't know, it is kind of like that forgotten star thing, right? And like a constant attempt to try to claw your way back into relevancy. And it is like sad, but it's also, I don't know, it like emphasizes the drive that I feel like, you know, people in the industry tend to have, right?
Yeah,
like they
for sure
will do anything to kind of get back in that spotlight. Yeah.
Especially once you've had the taste.
Mm-hmm.
Bones, you gonna follow that up? All right. George did bring up a few there that I thought about as well. Babylon was one of them. But I think that is more along the lines of, I think maybe in the end of just look how great movies are already. I think you can also get that with like Hugo as well with Martin there.
I also love Hugo, yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie.
I think it's underseen, and I guess it's Martin's fucking kids movie, I guess. But if you get the time, check that one out. It's really good. I go to documentary right away. I go to Heart of Darkness. As George mentioned, it's the process of making that movie. But I think in Heart of Darkness, you just see... you see the life of the director as he's trying to get his piece of art finished, and the stresses of a studio and where the money's coming from. And I just think that's beautifully done. Of course, it's for Apocalypse Now with Coppola's wife. I believe she just recently passed away, but I don't know. That's what I go to. I think it's great. Blowout, I think maybe from a technical standpoint, it's really, I think that would probably be up in the top 3, definitely. If you're going to be like making a movie, what is a film where you're physically making a movie? I think maybe not Boogie Nights, fucking Blowout would be in there. Maybe like Ed Wood as well, kind of the showing you all the stuff that's going on while they're doing it. But I got to go with Heart of Darkness. That's just what I'm going with.
Great.
Still never seen it.
Great choice.
Bones, I've kind of got one that piggybacks on Dan, so I'm going to jump in here. I mean, I think I would agree. Like, I do think Blowout is a good movie about making movies in the sense that it shows you a lot of what it takes to literally make a movie, like the steps you have to go through to join film and sound together. And I would agree that it is more on the actual technical aspects. I feel like it's maybe De Palma reaching back to like a simpler time for him of making more low budget movies and literally just trying to be like, oh fuck, like we didn't think to have a clapper to sync sound and video. Like what are the steps that I have to go through to literally like find a point of percussion in the film where I can join those two things together and kind of like backtrack into it. But Dan, I also ended up at a documentary on this question, but mine would be American Movie, the doc from 99. Like, as much as this movie does focus on the very, scientific or technical aspects of making a film, I think that movie is more focused on like clearly a guy that is probably going to ultimately fail in making a movie. But that is the dream that he has, is I have this thing, I want to make this a reality, and I will fight as hard as I can to get this vision out there. I feel like that movie above any other like really captures what it is to desire to make a film and to, have all these challenges and these hurdles in your way and just keep pushing through. Like, I think that's ultimately any independent director has to just keep pushing through, and you might end up with something great, or you might end up making, Coven for 30 years, but all in the same, like that guy's journey is valuable. That does represent a person who has drive and who has, a tenacity and refuses to take no for an answer. I think that movie, like, Blowout is more technical. That is more about just like the pure drive and passion. But it's like, if I have to pick one, I would much rather focus on those aspects, right? Like that's more, beautiful and heartfelt in a way. And you get this glimpse of a guy that is just like pushing to get it done. So yeah, I'd be at American Movie as the best movie about making movies.
Another great pick. Survey says it's on the board.
Ding.
I'm doing the what? They put that up there? They said what?
We're going to play it.
One left. Let's hear it.
Scream 3.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Ugh.
Short and sweet, dude.
That's all he has to say, dude. Nailed it.
All right, guys.
I'm leaving this podcast.
The next question I prepared. So I know this was a thing before De Palma got onto the scene, but at least for the modern era of filmmaking, do you think Brian De Palma kind of presented a template for how to use actors in unconventional ways to tell your story? I feel like with this movie, like Lithgow was almost, he was a character actor, but I feel like a lot of his roles were a lot more upbeat, like happy-go-lucky. De Palma was really a guy that was like, let's use this person in an interesting way. Let's break the mold of what people think John Travolta is. And I feel like all throughout his career, he was able to kind of like redefine what an actor could be. And even if the movie didn't hit in a way, it did kind of launch, like, maybe people think of Nick Cage in a different way, or Travolta, or Lithgow. I feel like, honestly, like it might be his most lasting legacy, the way that Tarantino has kind of picked up on this, or I feel like Hollywood in general is just more apt to, as long as you've got a director that is doing something interesting, but also delivers like a huge blockbuster, yes, we will let you cast whoever you want in whatever role you want. And I feel like, at least for this era of filmmaking, like that kind of starts with De Palma. So what would you guys think about that?
I think for me, that what he's best at in casting is like recognizing male desperation. And like in these boys, young John Travolta, whatever the name of the guy from Christine who is also in Dress to Kill is, to me, they are, yes, used unconventionally, but I think that he is, even amongst his peers, sort of the outsider, has that outsider edge, and a little bit of like that recognition of the outsider element in these other fellows. And I think that is what lets him recognize that they would be great in these other roles. And so I think that is sort of like a long-winded way of saying, yes, I do agree. But I think that it is sort of like a specific kind of person that he's able to recognize, like that they will fit this mold in a way that maybe people don't recognize because of the face that they are presenting in other roles.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I guess like we could look at the flip side of it, right? Like, I think I have. I don't remember much of it. Like, I have watched Bonfire of the Vanities, but it's like that did not do good for Tom Hanks or Bruce Willis. So it's kind of like, I guess there is a flip side to the coin, but yeah, I feel like he does capture something about some of the acting choices he makes of, male frustration or
yeah. When I think of Snake Eyes in particular, like that is so like motivated by that deep-seated need to like fill the gap, fill the hole, right? Mm-hmm. It is it's like really potent. It's a very potent movie, and I think that Nick Cage does an amazing job in it. But it's the same kind of thing where it's like, this is why he's amazing in Leaving Las Vegas, right? Is because he has that darkness in him. Is because he has that desperation. And, maybe it's because of his lineage, right? Maybe he's like, oh, I have to prove something to prove that I belong here, that I am not just a fail son who is working his way in here as a legacy artist or whatever Nepo baby term you want to call it. Like, I think that is where BDP really shines.
Bones, Dan?
I was just going to say that, like, as I was trying to work up to my answer, two things popped in. I don't know much about BDP in terms of, like, how is he an actor's director? You know, I don't really associate him with that. Like, does he have the Friedkin thing of,
do you love me? Do you trust me?
Yeah, 80% of this is just the casting, so I can focus on the other aspects of it. And then I thought about the ensemble element in a lot of his movies. Carlito's Way, Untouchables, and then Mission Impossible. And then from a casting choice, I remember being 10 years old, watching Mission Impossible in the theater, and being blown away that in the first 10 minutes, Emilio gets what, you know.
I was an
like,
adult when I saw it, and I was blown away.
Okay. Yeah, but like, you're not allowed to do that. That's the second most famous person in your movie. What the hell?
Well, it's almost kind of like this movie Psycho.
What the hell? What you got, Dan?
I agree with you. I don't think De Palma is a actor's director. He kind of does all the work for them in a way, especially in Blowout, even though Travolta's very good. It's kind of, it's him. Like, it's De Palma is Travolta.
Yeah, the self-insert
in this movie.
Yeah.
But and Mission Impossible is a good example of that. He knows Tom Cruise is gonna do Tom Cruise, and that's what people are coming to see is Tom Cruise. So,
do you not feel that is part of the desperation that I'm talking about, though? That Tom Cruise being so desperate for mass audience approval that he is willing to risk life and limb time and time again? That he recognizes this and says that's what makes him a good Ethan Hunt, is the fact that he is craving this, that he'll do whatever it takes.
are we talking De Palma here, or are we talking about Tom Cruise?
I'm saying that that De Palma recognizes, he says, we're not so different, you and I.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, in a way.
I too can run real fast.
And you better believe I'm raising my hands all the way up.
I do the T-1000 arms too.
This isn't my real face.
I'm going to take my face off.
Not to extend your answer even more, I got what you were saying, George, but that to me was a character aspect. And I think you make a good point that the casting definitely enhances the character. And as I'm going through the Rolodex in my mind of like, BDP really does seem to be focused on like your protagonist, every good story should have drive. You can really use the adjective of desperation in lieu of that. And I think that's a cool lens to look through that, or look at his filmography through, you know.
I think that's
but
a good
it's a
question.
split lens, so everything's in focus.
Right. Oh, okay, now we're talking.
But I think it's a good question from Kron, though. I guess it makes me think like, oh, maybe I should be paying more attention to his actors and not the technical aspect of what he's doing.
He's got that flash, right? It's hard to look past it sometimes.
Okay.
But I know what I'm getting in. I'm like, all right, this is De Palma. So, like, Give it to me, baby.
I think it's
That was a good
all.
question.
I think it's all good points. Like I do think BDP is probably a director who knows like what he wants the shot to look like and how he wants the actor to play the scene. But I mean, I do think there is something for, like George was saying, casting like a desperate person in a desperate character that will ultimately give you what you're looking for. And I mean, honestly, if I just compare how he uses Lithgow in this film, who I actually do think is like a menacing and somewhat scary character, versus if you do fast forward to Raising Cain, like I honestly think that movie is almost the beginning of Blowout just stretched out to a full film. Like BDP is saying, people keep telling me I'm doing schlocky crap. Like Raising Cain is essentially him being like, how would I, Brian De Palma, make a rip-off Brian De Palma film?
Okay, I gotta watch this movie.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Raising Cain is. And I feel like him casting Lithgow is very deliberate because he did this character, and that is a guy who can kind of adapt as a character to anything. And I feel like he plays it up in a sillier, goofier kind of terror than this movie offers. So even though I do feel like De Palma is somewhat, maybe keeps stuff on a short leash, like he picks people that are interesting and can kind of like at least tap into whatever's going on in his head that give you like an interesting movie. If you take the direction plus the acting, like it's all kind of married together in the end result. So yeah.
And his direction does more for character than most directors, right? Like Travolta could be operating at 50% during that incredible spin shot. And that spin shot is telling you, like, to quote George, like the spin into madness. That's doing most of the work there. But in terms of Lithgow, Kron, when did you see Blowout in your timeline of like learning to love Lithgow? Like, had you already seen Ricochet and Cliffhanger and shit first? Like, how much were you putting, I know that Lithgow can ham? Because what was the state of people in 81?
I'm a Footloose man myself.
Okay.
So I think probably the earliest for me would have been Cliffhanger. But I think I watched Blowout before Ricochet or Raising Cain.
Okay. Because like Christopher Walken, for example.
The King of New York?
Yeah. Great fucking movie. I'm of the age where Christopher Walken for me was Zorin from A View to a Kill. So he was always fucking weird. Like, I didn't grow up with King of New York, Deer Hunter, where he was a serious guy with a tint of weird. So I just think that's an interesting point too. Like, if you if you were a 14-year-old girl and you loved Grease, and now then you go with your boyfriend to go see Blowout, are you kind of bummed that he's not dancing and singing?
And on that note,
right?
I think Christopher Walken be doing the King of New York dance in every performance? Yes, is the answer.
Well,
okay.
Well, and also, I do think most audiences were disappointed in seeing Travolta in this role because the movie, like, pretty bombed real hard.
Which goes back to your original question about using people in a different.
Definitely
way,
with Travolta
right?
in particular, it's a little harder to nail that down, just because he had already used him in Carrie as like the bully. Like, he was a huge dickhead in that, so.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, I did kind of talk about Carpenter earlier, but I almost feel like BDP and Carpenter have a similar trajectory where it's like he puts out Blowout and people are like, this is not how you use these actors. This movie sucks. And then by the time you get down to like Raising Cain, people are like, why don't you make stuff like Blowout anymore? It's like, everybody fucking hated that movie. Like,
Wow.
why are you bringing that up? And, you know, it's the same thing with Carp, where it's
Carpet and the Thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you get to Prince of Darkness and people are like, well, you should make The Thing again. And it's like, that movie
no one would
fucking
finance
flopped
The
as
Thing
hard
now.
as anything. Yeah. But I do think it's interesting that like just the fact that this is on Criterion, it's clearly, you know, it's like stood the test of time. I feel like at this point people have come around to this movie where it was not considered a
Do you
success.
think that part of
its
that
release.
is strictly because of its display of his directorial style rather than any actual content within it?
How could you not be blown
I
away?
agree,
by
but
what
I'm
you
saying
saw?
that like is this in the Criterion Collection as the Brian De Palma showcase, or is it in there because they're like, now we love Blowout and everything that's in it?
Well, I mean, they've released other De Palma stuff, like, you know, they've got Sisters and Dress to Kill. So I think it's more, you know, this director is important, even if he didn't hit in his time. Like this, if we look 30 years out or 40 years, has like influenced filmmaking more than a lot of
Contemporary.
what was happening in that same era. Yeah.
Is this the one that if he only got one, that would be in there?
To me, yes. I would pick this over like Dress to Kill or Sisters.
Right. Which I would say then answers it's both
I would
then
probably
to
put
George's
Carrie
question.
in there, to be
Right.
honest, but
Yeah.
that would be if I was going to pick. It's not, well, actually I think it was like on Laserdisc, but it's definitely not like updated in the Criterion Collection. But I do think that it was right that this is the one that was chosen for Best Little Horror House in Philly, because not only do I think it's an excellent horror movie, but I think that, again, talking about that outsider status, this is, I mean, that movie in particular is replete with outsiders, right? Not only Carrie herself, but the fact that John Travolta's character and his girlfriend are, you know, kind of like these weirdo outsiders as well. They are the bullies, which means that they have separated themselves from their peers. And even Sue is like, she has like given up her boyfriend to the weirdo. Like she is an outsider as well. The people on the volleyball team kind of look down on her because she's like the goody two shoes. There's all of these elements of classic Brian De Palma, while also being very unique for him as well. The fact that it is following a female character and still, I think, managing to accomplish a lot of his typical stuff, makes it pretty dynamic, makes it pretty unique in the stuff that I've seen from him, at least. And I think that it also has a lot of awesome blood and stuff. Now, maybe it wouldn't be in there because it's not an original script. That would probably be the ding on it. Or not original script, but you know what I mean? Like it's based off of the Stephen King book. So that would probably be the ding on it if I was going to say like, oh, that's why it shouldn't be the only one in there. But as far as representing his career at large, for me, that's the one.
Dan, can I ask you a quick question?
It's Blowout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't it interesting how this podcast episode is kind of mirroring Blowout? Like, you come because you think you're going to get like a shitty 5DR, and then it turns into like a high class Best Little Horror House in Philly episode with like all
was an
this like
ambush
deep
all
conversation
along.
and shit.
Hey, I think
What the hell?
5 Day Reynolds has done a beautiful job these last 2 weeks of movies with great sound design and good discussions.
Yeah.
So,
All right, guys. Next question. We kind of touched on this when BDP stopped by on the episode. But guys, your film brats are Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, and Brian De Palma. is De Palma considered in this day the least of these directors, and is that fair?
I think it's comical the amount of praise that George Lucas gets. I mean, even understanding that a lot of people, even Star Wars fans, are like, it's not all George, right? How much did the other directors bring to the table, all of that stuff. But ultimately, it is his brainchild, and we've seen his influence seeping into the pores of culture across every piece of it. Every piece of it has been influenced by Star Wars in this day and age. And that's insane to me. Even if I was like just fine with Star Wars, even if I was like, I like it a little bit, I don't need Star Wars stuff on my Bounty paper towels. I don't need Chewbacca scented Yankee Candle. It is staggering to me that
Careful, dude. You're gonna get a lot of people. You're gonna make their midichlorians
I hope
boil.
that's true. I hope that's true. But the fact that he has achieved this place in culture is an affront to me. And I think that Brian De Palma deserves every ounce of credit for filmmaking and film influence that George Lucas does have. That George Lucas does have.
But
Spielberg is the best one.
Spielberg, Scorsese.
Spielberg, Lucas, Scorsese, Ford Coppola, Brian De Palma.
So we go Spielberg, or no, we go Scorsese, we go Spielberg.
I'm Spielberg first.
Flip those.
I'd go Scorsese first too, Dan.
Scorsese, Spielberg, Coppola, De Palma, Lucas.
I'd switch to Palma and Coppola.
I think I probably would as well. Especially after Megalopolis.
I'm a Coppola guy.
No
Takes
doubt, no
balls
doubt.
to do
And,
what he did
you
with
know,
Megalopolis.
it's not all bad. It's not all bad.
And you know, it's one thing I love. That's fucking big ass.
Hey, that's
balls,
like
baby.
in
Smell those
Scarface,
balls.
Brian De Palma, when he's like, I got big balls. Doesn't he say something like that? I got big fucking balls. Doesn't he say? Yeah, I think he says that. Something like that. This is one of the BDPs I haven't
Cojones.
seen. I was saying off camera that I have mostly seen the the stuff in this oeuvre, right? Your Dress to Kills, your Carries.
Mm-hmm.
So the a lot of the big name stuff, even like Carlito's Way, yeah, still in the mix, still on the table for me. And that's part of what's so exciting for me about Brian De Palma.
You ain't seen that
Is that he is so prolific, and each one of his movies that I have stumbled across feels like a completely unique revelation. When I watched Sisters for the first time, I was like, how are people not talking about this movie all the time? It's incredible. It's an amazing movie. And the fact that it's like so low on the list of like what comes up when people talk about Brian De Palma, that's nuts. That's nuts. That would be so many other people's best movie that they ever made. And it's like sixth on his most popular or something like that. It's crazy. Yeah, he's great, and he definitely deserves more credit.
Yeah, I feel like Francis Ford Coppola and De Palma, like those are the two that kind of fell off at the same time, but the difference is that Francis Ford Coppola just kind of stopped making movies, in some ways like preserving his legacy, whereas De Palma just kept trucking through like, oh, you'll give me $3 million? Like, yeah, I'll make a movie. I'll make Redacted. Like, let's fucking do it.
You got a lot of catch up on Coppola, Kron.
Yeah, but I mean, he had a period there, right, where he had stopped up until he
was
made
too busy
Megalopolis.
selling wine to get the funding.
Pretty active.
Yeah.
It's a success story.
So I feel like
But-
there was.
Go ahead, Kron.
Well, I feel like there's that difference where, like, out of the guys that kind of started to roll off, De Palma did continue to. He just wanted to make films, and it's like, well, if you're only going to give me this small budget and I got to shoot it in France, like,
That's why
fuck
he's
it,
the
I'll
film
do
brat,
it.
baby.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, it is crazy if you look at like this movie, like George said, Sisters. I mean, Scarface, Carlito. Like the guy has so many hits that it's like, how do you not at some point as a major studio just chuck
Roll the
an
dice.
entire, mountain of money at this? Yeah,
That's how you get snake eyes.
Yep.
Is he the one that has the most of his own stank in each movie?
I would say Spielberg's
That's the other
got
thing
a
I
lot
was
of
like-
stank as well.
Well, I feel like Lucas, he kind of just did one
Oh,
thing.
you didn't
right?
go out and
whereas-
celebrate Red
I feel
Tails, the movie that he made after?
I did not. But I feel like De Palma puts a lot of himself in movies. And also, I feel like out of all those directors, De Palma is much more interested in making genre
baby.
pictures, stuff that people would kind of look down on anyway. But he's like, no, man, that's the shit right there. Like, that's what we all should be striving to make is like weird, interesting. Like, I want to do a political thriller and I want to do a take up of Giallo and I want to do a horror movie and just kind of ping pong around. Like, he never really became like an auteur and he never completely changed the history of filmmaking like Lucas did. So yeah, it's just kind of a bummer that I would honestly put him in the middle of that list of directors, but I do feel like his latter work has pushed him to like, oh, that's not he was a fluke, and it's like, I don't know, man, the guy had like 10 great movies.
I also think that
it's incredible.
To your point about how it's like, sorry, I actually lost my. Wait, what were you saying right before you finished?
I'm gonna come.
Mm-hmm. That he like never.
Oh, right. No,
fully moved
the
into,
fact
like,
that
auteur.
he
kind of
doesn't
stuck in
look down on
genre
genre
pictures.
Yes, exactly. This is something that is so special to me, and I talked about this earlier, even with like the difference between like Michael Haneke's perspective on horror versus like someone who's enmeshed in it, and just I value what they have to say about the genre so much more when they are a piece of it, and I think that Brian De Palma really is straddling the sort of like artistry and schlock that I love. It seems like we are all sort of in the same boat on that element, and for him to so passionately wear his influences on his sleeve, I think is something that is also really special about him. To not just not hide his influences, but to celebrate them, to put as much Hitchcock into his movies as he does, to, it's the thing that makes it so special, right? The fact that it takes film history and makes it timeless. It shows you that these things that happened before are the same exact things that are happening now. It connects you to the filmgoers of the past in a way that a lot of these other people are not doing. I think Spielberg does come close with some of the pulp stuff, like the Indiana Jones things. That does sort of tie into that same feeling of like time gone by, but brought into now. But I think that De Palma is doing it in a way that is so awesome. And I talked about how a lot of his stuff is basically what Hitchcock would do if he were allowed to do it. And Hitchcock is maybe the greatest director of all time for me. And for him to incorporate so much of his perspective and bring it into what was then the modern age, what is still very visceral, I think is really incredible and something that is valuable as well to to make people say this is clearly referencing something, what could that be? And to send them casting backwards, to send them looking for what these influences might be, is really important work.
I think it's a great question, Kron. I think Coppola and De Palma are the two that kind of pushed away to do different things and experiment. But I do, like George brought up, I think the Hitchcock thing, like, oh, he just copies Hitchcock. I think that might hurt him in that conversation.
Right. It shouldn't.
And it shouldn't.
It's a good thing that he does that, in my opinion.
Yes. I think people hear Hitchcock ripoff and they're like, yeah, whatever. But
hey, more people should be fucking ripping off Hitchcock as far as I'm concerned.
it doesn't
Oh,
hurt.
I'm only biting one of the most successful, prolific filmmakers of all time. Oops.
Bones, I wanted to give you a chance if you had anything else. I feel like we kind of jumped over the top of you.
No, I was enjoying the conversation. I mean, in terms of this, what I was getting with the most stank, I think Dan reinforcing the Hitchcock element, I think maybe that's what bumps him up a little bit more than Spielberg, which I do agree. Spielberg will have a flair regardless of the genre. I think Spielberg, for me, the stank is character. Regardless of the genre, I know that character is going to be first and foremost, and then what the hell, I'm entertained. Like,
you know, that family drama's getting interjected in there.
I see the erector set, like the metal backbone of the claymation in a De Palma, where in a Spielberg I see it in the articulation, if that's a way to do it. But I think I would put him. Yeah, I think Lucas, the guy got fucking $4 billion. Like, he will be remembered forever. I think he's obviously fine with it. I think putting him at the bottom is not an insult to him.
I hope he takes it as one.
I mean, Coppola gets a lot for me because of Apocalypse Now. I'm having the most fun dipping into De Palma. So I'm with you. I think midline. I love Scorsese as a director. I myself don't connect to his works as much as I connect to pretty much 70% of Spielberg's filmography. So I feel like that's a pretty fair ranking, you know. I was trying to think of, like, you know, if you could take one of them out, all right, then you get your Beatles, like, who's who of that, you know.
Brian is the cute one.
I feel like De Palma's your George, right? He's your Harrison.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I can see that.
Like, Spielberg is
I was gonna say he's
McCartney.
Lennon, right? He's the well, I guess Paul McCartney had more mainstream success. Yeah, you're right. He's McCartney.
Yeah. Coppola, I think, is Ringo.
He went and sold wine into the octopus's garden.
And that leaves Scorsese as Lennon.
All right, I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Like,
It's kind of like more two McCartneys and two Harry.
yeah. Maybe that's. I was just trying to pigeonhole into that, but.
All right, guys, that brings us to our last question. Clearly, for me, since I brought it to the banquet, this is a 5-star movie. Is this a 5-star movie for you? Why or why not? And what would you rate it?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that this is a 5-star movie for me. I think that it is BDP knocking it out of the park, right? He's combining the horror and the political thriller stuff in a way that is really fucking working. Shit, man, every performance is killer. Every setting is killer. I love seeing my city on the damn screen, baby. And I think he does a loving job of depicting it in all of its grime. In the same way that people sort of misinterpret David Lynch talking about how, Eraserhead is about Philadelphia and how everybody was very scared all the time and unfriendly and everything. And he talks about his time there and how it's like a scary thing for him. And people are like, oh, he hates Philadelphia. And it's like, no, he's accurately assessing his time there, but he still has fondness for it. And I think that this is the same kind of thing where he's like, yeah, I'm going to, invent a serial killer to rampage through Philadelphia, but you're going to see a beautiful shot of City Hall and we're going to spend some time in the train station. Just some really great stuff. I think the performances, like I said, are incredible. BDP at his best. Baby, let's go. It's a 5-star banger, no doubt.
This was a 4 for me before we went into this week. It bumped a little bit. I think the ending is tragic and beautiful. It fucking rhymes. It bumped up a little bit, 4.5. You're going to go, why the fuck? Why the 0.5? I think when you get like one little road bump for me, like 3/4 through it, I found myself kind of losing the momentum that the first half of the movie really had, and I felt like there wasn't much revelation for as propulsive he was as a protagonist within the story. Like the second time she goes to meet with Dennis Franz, I was like, all right, come on, let's go. And God, the rear projection on that chase scene, it really takes me out of it. It's one thing when she's stoned and there's this sort of like meet cute vibe when they're first in the Jeep. Man, it really took me out of it. I know a reel got stolen and that sucks, but it's just a bummer that for how perfectly technical everything came together, that chase just does not work. So, but 4.5, man, this is a movie that I will revisit over and over.
Yeah, this started as a 4 for me as well when I first seen it. I'll start with Travolta. I think this is the best Travolta for me. It's Brian De Palma just at the height of what you should expect from now on from a De Palma film. I think just goddamn, you just want to get in there and fucking turn those knobs and go through those fucking sound tapes with him that he has, even when he's like recording them and labeling them and shit like that. It's just fucking great. The overhead shots. I watched it twice this go around. It's always a movie I wanted to come back to, but when we started this show, Kron was very clear that Blowout would be a 5-star banger. So I knew I'd have to wait a little bit to watch it, and it's finally here. But I think on this time around, man, it's a 5-star for me. I think it really deserves that. I mean, you get this fucking, like you guys said, schlock fucking co-ed, whatever the fuck it's called that they named it, movie that he's put you in at the beginning. You come out to that cat drowning scream that lady has, and the movie tells you what the fuck it is right there. And then he ties a bow on it at the very end. It's a depressing ass bow, but you get it. And I think that's great. Everything is tied up. It's a 5-star for me.
I know this is wrap up time, but I just love that so much for it to be like the whole movie is just what happens to get that scream. And so when you think about like the domino effect of everything that needs to happen to fall into place for a movie to exist, and how many stories happen to get to capture every piece of sound, obviously they're not all as dramatic as a murder, but when you just think about like how a movie comes together through so many things being in the exact right perfect place at the right time, it like is like a magic trick. It like is an incredible thing. And I think that when we talk about how when I specifically was saying that, like, I think that it is important for a movie about making movies to talk about, is it worth it or whatever? Like, to say like, yeah, like, look at the effort even that goes into getting this piece of a scream in a schlockfest. It's interesting. It's just a really interesting and awesome movie.
I would love to know at what part of Co-Ed Frenzy they use the frog ribbit.
That's the noise the dude makes when he comes.
Perfect. Asked and answered.
All right, dudes, you touched on most of the reasons I think this is a 5-star movie. I mean, I think the very first time I saw this, I did think, out of what I had seen at the time, and I've still not seen all of BDP's movies, but this one was my favorite right after I watched it. It's always been my favorite De Palma, and there are aspects that I like about a lot of his work, but to me, this is the one where it's like, he got all the technical stuff right. He got all the directing and the actors, and it all just lined up. And I mean, if we are kind of talking about that ending, like, it is a depressing ending, right? Because Sally dies at the end, and that's a bummer, but
wait, what?
I totally misunderstood the movie.
Like, the bigger bummer is that final scene, because after Travolta has gone through all of this, he's right back in the same place that he was at the beginning of the film. Like,
yes.
This entire experience that he's had has been to get one shitty soundbite in a shitty movie that no one will ever watch. And
but he's plugging his ears as well. Like, that's his job to get the sound, and he doesn't want to hear the sound. It's like,
yeah. It's the ultimate
nothing matters, Dan.
Ending,
nothing
man.
matters.
Yeah.
Didn't you just see what happened? They got away with it. They got away with it.
It's fucking good.
Imagine who's next.
Mm-hmm.
So many fucking levels.
It is the ultimate, like, heartbreaker. And as we've talked about, it is a movie about making movies, but it's also wrapped up in this political espionage kind of thing. And I feel like it would be hard to make either one of those movies good. And BDP made one that has all that shit wrapped up together in a movie that's like slightly over an hour and a half, and it all works.
Yeah. Hey, Francis, how about the conversation got a fucking kick in the pants?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I watched this thing almost 3 times this week, and if someone came to me tomorrow and said, I would like to watch Blowout, I would be hyped as hell to watch it again. I don't know what more endorsement you need for why a movie is a 5-star. I could watch this thing all the damn time.
Oh, yeah.
5 stars. Guys, I think that's it. I think we're done with Blowout. Bones, tell the people what we're watching and talking about next week.
Oh, come back for a little late 90s. Just, man, what is there to say about the beautiful Wesley Snipes killing fucking vampires, dude?
Let's go. Big pop in the audience.
Big pop. I mean,
Standing ovation.
it's a little bit of a bummer that Dan didn't pick Baby's Day Out, so all 3 movies started with a B. But in true 5DR fashion, Kron brings us a De Palma classic. Dan brings us a horror classic. And I just bring it back to late 90s studio action film. Come on, man. Who doesn't fucking love Blade?
Let's go.
I do.
I love Blade so much.
Talk about 4K, dude. The 4K, it looks so fucking good.
Yeah, man.
We're going to go on and on about how I still think the effects hold up. Shitty as they are, I think they work beautifully.
Yeah.
Steven Dorff.
Oh, he's great.
You'll love to hate him.
The Dorf Man. I love that movie. It was funny because I had been a guest on another podcast called Soundtracker, which is another very good podcast that people should go check out. And specifically,
still waiting on his reply.
Really? That's a bummer.
We've been going back for like 3 years on whether or not I'm coming on the show.
Oh my God. He was slow to respond to me as well. I do admit. So keep at it. But Eric's a great dude. He's got a great show, and he had me on to talk about Blade. And then like a few weeks after I talked about Blade on his show, somebody picked Blade for Best Little Horror House in Philly, and I was so excited. I was like, fuck yes, more Blade. And I can't wait to hear about it a third time on 5 Day Rental.
Thanks, dude. Thanks, Kron.
Thanks, Kron.
Thanks, Ron.
George, thank you for
Thank you.
for having 5 Day Rentals on Best Little Horror House. I know
The secret
run is done.
Secret finale episode here that we turned this
I just
into.
wanted to thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I mean,
say
George,
thanks.
thank you.
tell the people where they can find you and what's next post Best Little Horror House in Philly.
Give us
If
exclusive,
you want
dude.
to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in victory lap mode right now, right? I'm just vibing. I'm just having a good time. Best Little Horror House is the zombie is still sort of shambling around the graveyard because all the Patreon episodes are manifesting on the main feed. So if you were not already a patron, you can certainly stay subscribed or go and subscribe to Best Little Horror House in Philly and check out not only the wonderful episodes that these three gentlemen did about Castle Freak, American Psycho, and Zodiac, but also, stick around, check out all kinds of great new stuff. I don't really care anymore because, the show is done. So if you don't, I don't give a fuck. But you should check. Like, it's good. Go listen to their episodes. And what I really want to plug is, if you came here for me, if you are a Best Little Horror House in Philly fan and you saw me promote this and you came to listen to it, go listen to more 5 Day Rentals episodes. This is a great show. I want you to go into the back catalog and listen to some great episodes. The Bond movies that have been a lot of fun. Just hearing them talk about it. It's great, accessible movies for people. So, check it out. Great show.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, George. But hey, if you do want to follow 5 Day Rentals, check us out on the socials. We're on fucking Threads. We're on fucking Instagram and Letterboxd. If you got any questions, concerns, comments, please email us at 5dayrentals.podcast@gmail.com. What else do we got? Oh, we got a Discord as well that drops, or you can get on that. There's a link on every episode that drops every Wednesday of the 5 Day Rentals podcast. So click on that. George is in there.
Come in there.
We're
Come in there and yell at me about George Lucas. I welcome your anger.
Yeah.
Tell me why Star Wars is amazing and I'm a fucking dumb piece of shit who is not on board with the monoculture.
Or you could just tell us we're right all the time.
I would actually love that. Yeah, wait. What was I saying? Don't do that. I don't want to get yelled at. Come tell me I'm right.
Also, we are right on Lucas. The guy's a fucking hack.
We are. We'll never cover Star Wars. Ever.
Ever.
Oh, we're doing Rogue One, season 3.
Ugh.
But if you are on Spotify or Apple, please rate, review, and follow the show. It helps us bring the show to more people. But other than that, folks...
Wait, I forgot to mention,
George.
I also
shit.
have seen American Graffiti, and it's also doing nothing for me. So it's not just based off Star Wars out there, people.
What was the other one?
THX.
That one is fine. That one is fine. I admit that one's fine. But even that one, compared to all the other like awesome sci-fi that's happening at the time, it's got like no juice. So you're done, Lucas.
Fuck yeah. You heard it from George. Fuck George Lucas. And crash and burn.
Crash and burn.
Keep looking.
Oh, shit. You only get $10.